The following is a special presentation of Iracing on LSR TV, your home for sim racing.
Above the virtual Martinsville Speedway, we say good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to those of you watching here on Iracing's YouTube channel, Facebook Live, and CarsTour.tv. This is round number 4, the Championship Esports Association Cars eSport Tour, right here on your home for sim racing, LSR TV. My name is Cisco Scaramuza, and alongside Chris Murdoch and Jacqueline Drake, we're going to be bringing you 2 features tonight of late model action here at the Paperclip 270 here at Martinsville Speedway. And of course, I have to welcome in one of our newest recruits, I guess, to LSR TV, but a voice and a face that has been a part of this series here since the inception. Jacqueline Drake, welcome to the LSR.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV, and it may not be rebroadcast.
I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds, punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different. And the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey, man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh, my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol, and then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
All right, Mulligan, let's try this again. Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome atop Martinsville Speedway. You heard me earlier, but if you did not, this is the Cars eSport Tour right here at Martinsville Speedway, getting set for 2 of these features here tonight, and a little bit less than the SKs that we had last time. We're back to normal schedule with the LMSC and super late models, and well, we didn't get a chance to introduce her because my computer picked the perfect time to decide it didn't want to connect to the internet. So now we have some time. Jacqueline Drake, welcome to the LSR TV broadcast booth, and happy to have you here.
Thanks, Cisco, for having me. I'm sure I'm getting a warm welcome from Iracing with the computer crash.
Yeah, it seems to be. I hope this isn't an omen of things to come here, because we know how things can go at the paperclip here in Martinsville. And 2 races coming up tonight. Of course, our LMSC division, our late model stocks, were not in action due to the rainout that we had, but the super late models were. Well, we're back to the normal schedule here tonight. Kicking us off is going to be a late model stock feature. It's going to go about 100 laps on that, and then the 170 lap super late model feature here at Martinsville, and that'll have some segments on. We'll talk about that more as the race goes on, because tire strategy is going to be key going into that here tonight. But before we get into that, Jacqueline, Martinsville Speedway, obviously we saw what was a landmark modified race here once they put in the lights. We don't have the lights here in iRacing yet, but nonetheless, Martinsville, a .526 mile oval and one of the oldest tracks here on the East Coast and in racing in general. This is a very, very close-knit and very close racing track. What do you expect to see out here?
You know, Martinsville does, like you said, it is such a tough track with that paperclip shape. So I really see a lot of the drivers doing some tough side-by-side racing as they try to pass here, because it's difficult to pass at Martinsville. So I think we're going to see some good racing today.
Yeah, I agree. This is, we've definitely been in short track mode here on the sim with the NASCAR stuff just rolling through Richmond. We obviously had the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing series take part in that last night, and before that we had all the NIS and all the different series on the sim over Richmond to run all the Cup stuff. So lots of short track racing on the sim here as we get set to take things underway. We'll run you through quickly before your starting grid, talking a bit through the late model stocks here, of course, if you aren't familiar with them. Well, iRacing Chevrolet Monte Carlo SS, unmodified, but they have the fixed setup. So everybody's running on the same setup here. It's a perimeter chassis car, 3,100 pounds, 370 horsepower, and about a top speed of about $160 or so. But the biggest note on that fixed setup, so everybody's driving the exact same handling characteristics here at Martinsville. But with that, we're going to send it down trackside and figure out who's starting where here at Martinsville Speedway. And starting off on pole tonight's going to be Matt Chinoski. Actually, no, that's incorrect. Jeff Ward going to start on pole with Reed Rondell starting to his outside. Devin Morgan going to start 3rd. Chad Bass going to start 4th with Brandon Stokes in 5th. Joe Burkett going to start 6th. 7th to Tommy Ryan. 8th to Jeremy Adams. 9th to Matt Cucker. And Christian Peterson going to round out your top 10 with Christian Murphy, Brandon Wilkinson, Sean Cross, Matt Chinoski, Randy Yoakum, Joshua Cox, Wally Wilson, Cam Davidson, Brad Carpenter, John Lyday in 20th. And 21st is going to be Scott Austin, James Milbachler going to start 22nd, Jeremy Watkins, Todd Novosad, Wesley Whitfield, Douglas Miller, and Dwight Beverly going to round out your 27-car field here. And if you couldn't tell, I think the overlay is, we're still trying to work out the kinks. I realized we didn't have a grid graphic with that, so we'll get that sorted, or we'll just switch back to the normal things here tonight. But getting set for pace laps here behind the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car. Going to get set to get ourselves underway here as there's the timing, and sure enough, going to get ready to go green here. And Jeff Ward on the pole here tonight, looking for that number 7 car to see what he can do this evening. We thank you for joining us here on iRacing Live, LSR TV, Cars Tour TV, as pace car hits pit road and field in the hands of Jeff Ward as we go green here from Martinsville for 100 laps for the late model stock feature. We're racing at the paperclip. Off the turn number 1 we go right now, and off turn number 2 already. Ward's going to hold on to the to the lead position there. They'll go side by side for second, able to make it out though. So they'll go side by side behind. That's for about the 5th position. Tommy Ryan in that number 6 car, able to make the position right there. Is right behind him. You see the 69 and Matt Cucker looking for that spot, but single file through your top 4 right now, Jacqueline, and trying to break away are the first 2 cars of Jeff Ward and Devin Morgan.
Yikes. Yeah, Devin Morgan seemed to give Jeff Ward a little bit of a push to the green flag there, but man, I can't even believe getting stuck on the outside there is just sending some of them back, completely getting freight trained.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a freight train. That outside line not going to get a whole lot done here at Martinsville as he come off a turn 2 that time. Car loose to the inside. Didn't get a chance to see who that was. We tapped through. That's Joe Burkett in the 26. He got all sorts out of shape coming off turn number 2. Was able to hold on to that car. So we stay green here from Martinsville. Head back to turn number 1 yet again. The 87 of Christian Murphy, first car really battling here in the pack. Going to go the inside of the 89, Jeremy Adams up there. Once again, not able to make things work as more problems in the back. That's another car going around. That will be a caution. So our first caution going to fly here, and it's problems with Wally Wilson. We'll take a second look and see what we can see what happened there, Jacqueline. But when we cut to the screen there, we saw that car all sorts out of shape here early on. And our first caution, only 5 laps into this thing.
Yikes.
Yeah, we'll take a second look here, and yeah, you can see the 36 down on the inside line just gets a little bit tight right into the 3 car there, and after that just isn't able to save it. And really with, 3,100 pounds or so behind the on these cars as far as weight goes, Jacqueline, something like that's going to be very hard to save for the drivers here.
Oh, absolutely. And honestly, it's just like a pendulum swing. As soon as he got loose there, he just hit the wall. And it looks like he might have some damage to the front. When you can see in that last, yep, he's in pit road right now. So definitely a lot of damage there.
Yeah, so no fast repairs, keep in mind for these guys, so they're not going to get a backup car or reset or anything like that to be able to keep them out on track. So that's going to be some damage repair for that car, and hopefully you can get back out. The engine was smoking, though, so that looked like it was going to be a required repairs, so it's going to be a long night for Wally Wilson in that 36. But single file out here right now under the first caution, and something to note here, I think that I found interesting, is that one of the things we're going to have to worry about tonight, Jacqueline, is that a lot of the rubber is going to get put down on that bottom groove here at Martinsville, and that's going to make that bottom side a lot harder to be able to make passes, which is weird to think because we're at Martinsville and this is such a bottom side heavy track, but once you start putting rubber down, it gets harder and harder to drive that line.
Absolutely, and the corners here are only 12-degree banked corners, so it's definitely going to make it more difficult with the rubber and harder for people to pass, just like you said, Cisco.
Yeah, and the GM bonging making a slight appearance there, but we're all good. We're all good. We're having a little bit of fun, but nonetheless, pace car still out here. And to recap, no, lights are going to go out this time, so we'll double up. And your top 2, Jeff Ward, and that's Devin Morgan in second spot, as we'll roll through the corner this time and head back to the start-finish line here and get ourselves re-green from Martinsville. Pace car is going to head to pit road this time. Field once again in the hands of the Turn 5 Live PMN radio. Number 7 of Jeff Ward comes off turn number 2. Field in control from him. They'll hit the restart box, and no, he's going to back him up, wait for as long as possible to stack up the field. Green here from Martinsville, so we head back to turn number 1.
Oh, that was a slow restart by Ward there.
Yeah, he backed everybody up. I think he's trying to get them a little more side by side, but it backfired because here comes Devin Morgan on the outside, and it actually is going to pay off for Morgan because he kind of timed that perfectly for Ward. So unlike the first restart where Ward was able to kind of stay out front and pull even early or pull away early, wasn't able to do so here. Meanwhile, caution back out, and car up in the air. That was not good. That's James Milbachler in the 61, so early issues for him. So we'll take a second look at that on the LSR TV replay and find out what happened to him. But, oh, he was barrel rolling. That's never good at Martinsville.
Oh, gosh.
We'll have to take a second look at that, Jacqueline. Walk us through what happened.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, let's get the replay pulled up here. Quite a ride for him. Wow. Hard contact into the wall on the outside there.
He just got lifted up off the 3.
Yeah, he did. It just got air, it lifted up. Let's see here. He had a little bit of contact there. Oh gosh, right into the wall, straight on. And 1, 2, 5 barrel rolls, 6. Wow, that is a lot of damage on his car. And then he rams it into the inside wall again. Goodness.
So, not quite what we're used to seeing, you know, cars up in the air and barrel rolling at Martinsville, but that's nonetheless how we're going to get things started here. So nonetheless, a second caution out here, and that'll give us the opportunity. I think what we're going to try and do is put away this graphics package for now, see if we can fire up the old backup one, because I don't have a bunch of the buttons that I'm used to seeing. So we'll just tap dance over the top of that for the moment. But second caution out here at Martinsville, and it's been kind of a melee early on here, Jacqueline. The driver's not given a whole lot of room.
No, and speaking of that, Cisco, you know, Morgan, and these early laps, we're only on lap 12 now, and even at that last restart, he was not giving Ward any room. He's just cutting him down on the outside. So, man, first in the beginning of this race, he hit him from the back, and then now pushing him down. So, it definitely, you know, rough driving in the early stages of this race.
Well, we're given the yep, now the theme's gonna go away, and let's see, there we go. That's, well, it's sort of working, so we'll go with it for the moment here. But Jeff Ward continues to lead. The normal LSR TV colors back on board, at least for the moment, though. That error's not great. Let's see, nope, that's not gonna go away. So we'll be stuck with that, so just ignore the open bracket O:0 close bracket here for the moment, and we'll get that sorted here once we get a chance to go to a caution flag of our own and go to a quick commercial break. Actually, we can do that right now, so I'm going to try and fix that really quickly. So be right back here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. There we go, have things sorted now, and gonna get ready to go re-green here for the second time from Martinsville, and of course count caution at lap number 55 if we get that far. But green flag back in the air for the second time here this evening from Martinsville. Head back to turn number 1, and Devin Morgan actually going to get a great run on the outside and be able to try and clear the 7 of Jeff Ward, and Ward sticking the nose in there, but Morgan's going to chop it off and leaves absolutely no room. And Jacqueline 12, your new leader here, we've been watching him, and sure enough, out to the front here at Martinsville.
Absolutely. It looks like that aggressive driving is paying off, but yet one thing we're going to have to worry about is those tires. Are they going to be able to last for the full amount of the 100-lap feature?
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to note, these guys aren't going to be going down and taking tires during the course of this event. We'll talk more about that when the super late models go out, because they are going to get a chance to take tires, but here, LMSC, not possible. Meanwhile, side by side between Christian Peterson and Reed Rundell, and oh no, car up into the outside wall, and that's issues. It's the black and blue machine of Brandon Stokes, the number 10, got up in the outside wall, and meanwhile another caution behind, and oh geez, massive issues with John Lyday smoking down the back straightaway. So they keep getting bunched up here, and it's not working out for these guys. Third caution here on the night. Time to take a look at another replay and see what happened here, and it looks like he got all sorts out of shape with the 06 of Josh Cox there as we take a second look. Oh, just got tight again going through the corner. That's not going to work. That's not the first time we've seen that this evening, Jacqueline, but the 22, I think, tried to apex out of the corner, and for some reason didn't think the 06 was going to be there, or thought he was going to drop behind it or someone. But yeah, that just did not work.
No, and honestly, it looked like he washed up a little bit coming out of that corner and just did not see that he didn't have enough room there. So definitely, I don't think he expected to run into him.
Yeah, no, I agree. So,
Joshua.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like you said, washed up, and you can't do that, Martinsville. Not a whole lot of room. But under our third caution here, and that'll give us a chance to reset everything now that everything is seems to be working. Of course, if you are just joining us, welcome. This is, of course, the Paperclip 270 here from Martinsville Speedway here in Ridgeway, Virginia. Cisco Scaramuza. Chris Murdoch will be joining us here hopefully before the end of the night. I believe he's caught up in a little bit of traffic and a little bit of schoolwork, so we'll see if he can get him in here for too long. But Jacqueline Drake alongside me, and she's on the road as well, so everybody, it's normally, you guys are used to hearing Evan and Austin, everybody, but everyone's gone this week because Austin's out in San Francisco with Monster Jam. Or rather, Evan is. Austin, I believe, is out at work. He's got to work the late shift, and Chris is late. So it's been that kind of evening. Whenever I'm doing lead commentary, that's never a good thing because it generally means everybody's gone and they just left me in control of absolutely everything, which is never good. But nonetheless, getting set here to get ourselves back at Martinsville, and Kyle Barnes just coming over the race director radio. He's kind of getting sick of the cautions here, Jacqueline, because he said if we get another quick caution here, we're going to single file restarts.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're not even going to get to the competition caution at this rate at lap 55. So, yeah, I definitely see the single file starts helping with that.
Yeah, and we are using your comp caution rule, by the way, so we don't actually have to worry about it at 55. We should get the re-green here at the end of 23, so we should be getting it at about 60, lap 62, lap 63. So using the normal 40 laps, if we don't wreck, we'll throw a yellow. So we're getting close, though, because, of course, lap 80, if we get to that point where a comp caution would have been, we're not going to have that. So keep an eye out for that here as we get set to get our third restart here from Martinsville. Let's see if we can get a little bit of green flag running here from the Paperclip. Field going to be in the command for the first time here this evening from Devin Morgan. The 12 going to power off the corner, and off the corner we go. Green flag back in the air here at Martinsville. Off turns number 1 and 2 right now. Morgan going to be able to get off the corner and not quite able to clear Jeff Ward, and Ward's still hanging tough on the outside as they head through 3 and 4 this time. And now Morgan going to be able to clear the 12 as they go side by side behind. It's Tommy Ryan and Jeff Ward going at it, and Jeff Ward might be in a little bit of the freight train scenario here and not getting a whole lot of grip up there as we come off turn number 2 and head back to turn number 3. Things not working right now for the 7. Still racing here, caution back out on the racetrack, and it's another issue here, kind of back in your field, looking back through to see who might have been the issue. See James Millbackler and Chad Bass back here. Maybe there was an issue back there. Looking through, yeah, looks like issues. It was the number 1 of Chad Bass. So we cross the start-finish line there, head back towards 1 and 2 once again. And Bass floats up and right into the 89 of Jeremy Adams, and just like that, he's going to go to the inside. So once again, another case of a card washing up, but just not able to get that under control, and goes right into the car on the outside. So that'll be another caution here and allow Devin Morgan to lead some more laps here in Martinsville. With that, we're going to kind of pace around here a little bit and kind of regroup everything. So Jacqueline, once again, another case of a car washing up off the corner, and that's the second incident we've had with that this evening, and just kind of speaking to how tight these cars are kind of getting off the corner.
Yeah, and you see that often though with this paperclip shaped track. It's just difficult to get off the corner, and really you have to play between your throttle and your brake and try not to get too washed up there. And you also have to think about your competitors and giving them room, or you're going to see exactly what we've seen twice now.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure these guys starting to get a little bit tired of all these single file restart or all these double file restarts leading to crashes. And well, Kyle says we've had enough of it because we're going to go single file here. So it's going to make it a whole lot harder for any passes to happen early on. And the one thing we are going to have to watch out for, Jacqueline, is going to be any sort of accordion effects, because, of course, with a field this long, I mean, they're going to run basically paced like this. I mean, the end of the train of cars that are pacing at the moment is just going through 3 and 4, and we're heading into turn number 1 right now. So lots of cars here. So that's going to basically mean if you're mid-pack, it's going to be a whole lot harder to get back to the front.
Absolutely, and nobody likes to see single file, but we all don't blame Kyle. I mean, we've had, what was that, our 5th caution?
It's getting up there. I think it was our 4th or 5th. So
yeah.
I think the biggest thing, it's, you know, these guys getting very aggressive early on, and they're just going to have to calm down a little bit, as Devin Morgan may be on the Netflix a little bit here and maybe running into some issues. That could be issues. No, he's back, our leader. So running into a few internet issues, and of course that's, you know, he's got something extra on the network or something, so you got to turn off Netflix when you drive, because otherwise it's going to be tearing down your internet there, so that would not be good for him.
He's
so
skipping a little bit back and forth, and oh, he's back.
We're good. We're
Fourth
good now.
caution, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Is Barnes talking to you too? Because he's able to talk to us through our ears, so I think he added you to whisper. So just keep an eye. I guess we'll have Overlord Kyle in our ears, but nonetheless, your top 5 as we get the green flag here. It's going to be Devin Morgan, Tommy Ryan, Jeff Ward, Christian Peterson, and Matt Cucker, your top 5. As we head re-green once again. It's going to be another try, and off our fourth caution, it's already bottleneck back to turn 1 and 2, and first car looking to the outside, it's Matt Cucker in the 69, but not able to make things happen. He'll jump back down to the inside as we head back towards 3 and 4 once again. Off turn number 4 that time, and Devin Morgan opening up about a car length gap, but he's able to open up that gap here on Tommy Ryan's going to try and pull away a little bit. Tommy Ryan, meanwhile, has a rearview mirror all full of Jeff Ward in that turn 5 live machine, and then Christian Peterson. Something to note here that I think is going to be interesting. Peterson, that 23, and then the 69 to Matt Cucker, they're teammates, so keep an eye on those two to maybe not race each other so hard and try and work their way through this field. But it's been fairly calm so far, not having to worry about too many guys going too wide. Do have a little bit of a battle back here between Douglas Miller and Brandon Stokes, and they're going to get a little argy-bargy here, and it's kind of side by side. It's about 11th through the rest of your field. It looks like there's a little bit of a break here, Jacqueline, so maybe there's a little bit of a checkup or something like that, but kind of split your field into 2 packs.
Yeah, definitely, and I think that the top runners, you know, the front pack on here is really pulled away, and they found something there.
Yeah, they have found a little bit of something, and a lot of these drivers are the guys we're used to seeing in your top 10 or so. You know, you got Brandon Wilkinson up there, the 56. He's running decently right now. Jeremy Adams, the 89, had a great run Sunday night and had a great run last week in the CEA Dirt Series, so we know he's going to be fast. Shinoski's been able to break away a little bit. Awesome to see up here. Of course, one of the drivers out from the Outlaw Modified Series, so awesome to see the crossover there. And a little bit of a battle. How about Dwight Beverly, that 0-2, and the Douglas Miller? That's a watermelon machine right there, using a little bit of chrome horn on the 0-2 of Dwight Beverly, and force his way down the inside, and Beverly's going to get forced to the outside. But the bumpers in here have been used since the green flag, but Jacqueline, that's the first time I've seen them used where a car hasn't gone in the wall.
Yes, definitely. You know, that 31 of Douglas Miller really just hit him straight on and made sure not to spin him out, unlike some of the other things that we've seen early in the race.
Yeah, you're right, and of course there is kind of an art form to moving a guy out of the way and making sure that while he does go out of the way, you don't wreck him, because it's never a great thing to do, and at least unless you want to get wrecked later on in the race, or maybe even the Supers race later on. But still single file through your top 10. Everybody, that single file restart really spread everybody out, so our battles we're seeing is about 13th on back. You know, Stokes, Beverly, drivers, some of the drivers like that, kind of towards the rear of your field here, kind of hanging out. You see the 06 of Joshua Cox. That car has basically been through the wars already, and we're not even halfway at this point. Only lap 40 starting to work. We're going to start working at least when we cross the start-finish line, so going to come to complete lap number 39 this time. Devin Morgan continuing as that was one car up a high coming off at turn number 4, and that was James Milbach with 61 going a lap down here. And once you go a lap down at Martinsville, unless you get that waiver on, Jacqueline, that's basically game over.
Yeah, absolutely. There's just no coming back from that, and unless the rest of the field decides to wreck or something, that's too much, too hard for one person to do.
Yeah, exactly, and it's a lot harder to get cautions once we're spread out here, but the top 3 staying within the same zip code or so. I will say top 2 really more doing that. You got Devin Morgan right now continuing to lead Tommy Ryan at the moment, and really your 2 leaders just kind of pulling away. That gap has formed a little bit between Jeff Ward 3rd and Matt Cucker 4th, who has, by the way, actually kind of swapped over that position from CP, so Peterson dropped back to 5th, and I think he let Cucker have that position. The 2 teammates putting the faster car ahead right now. So team driving starting to come into an aspect here. And of course, Vincier is basically what I would call the junior motorsports of this series, Jacqueline. I mean, this is a team that they have a bunch of drivers here who all kind of collaborate on setups, practice together, and basically can share information. That's a huge plus. Anytime you go out to the racetrack, you have a bunch of teammates you can lean off of.
Absolutely. You know, and one thing about Martinsville is, hey, you can use this to your advantage. So earlier when you were bumping and banging with somebody else, well, you got a teammate right behind you that can now do something about it and move him out of the way and help you in a position maybe later on in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And working lap number 44 right now. Could see the team aspect come into this later, but the first battle we're probably going to see here, nope, caution going to come back out, and it's problems Wesley Whitfield, the 71, the blank white 71 for whatever reason, as the caution's going to fly. We'll see if we can take a second look and what happened to that car. And could have been just issues coming off the corner. I'm not really sure what happened. But we see him go into turn 3 here, gets a little bit of the curb, which is never good, and yeah, back just steps out and just lost the back end there. So car not handling the way Wesley Whitfield wanted it to happen, and just like that, we're going to be bringing out our 5th caution here, and with that, that'll put the comp caution away. We can put that flag in the drawer, at least for this race, because not going to have to worry about it rest of the evening, because we if that were to come out, it would be right now it'd be about lap 86, so that's within our 20 to go marker, so no more competition cautions to bring out for the rest of the race here. But Devin Morgan continues to lead, and yeah, Jacqueline, that was just a case of a car getting very loose and the driver just not being able to save it. So unfortunate. Luckily didn't get any more cars than that.
Absolutely. When he came back around and twisted the car to that outside wall, he was very close to collecting 2 other competitors. So yeah, it could have been a lot worse than it was.
Luckily, though, keeps it off the wall, keeps it other cars, and Kyle Barnes coming over the radio saying, no, I don't trust you guys enough. We're going to stay single file. So race control, I think still a little bit wary of the racing we had earlier on, but we're going to stay a single file restart here and getting close to halfway. So while it's not quite our midway point, just take an opportunity to run you through your midway race break, brought to you by Iracing, the world's online leading racing simulation with professionally sanctioned racing from the likes of NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, the Cars Tour, Global Rallycross, you name it, we got it here on iRacing, and pace lights continue to stay on, so we'll run you through everybody right now. Devin Morgan continues to lead, started 3rd, great run for him right now. The driver of Tommy Ryan running 2nd, Jeff Ward running 3rd. 4th is going to be Matt Cucker. 5th to Christian Peterson. Brandon Wilkinson is running 6th, with Reed Rundell running 7th. 8th going to be Christian Murphy. Jeremy Adams 9th, and Matt Chinoski rounding out your top 10. Then you got Joe Burkett there running in 11th. Douglas Miller running 12th. 13th to Brandon Stokes. 14th to Dwight Beverly. Sean Cross running 15th. 16th to Randy Oakham. 17th going to go to Scott Austin. Joshua Cox running 18th. 19th to Brad Carpenter. And Cam Davidson rounding out your top 20 with your final 7 cars. Jeremy Watkins, Todd Novosad, Chad Bass, Wesley Whitfield, James Milbachler, John Lyday, and Wally Wilson, all making up the rest of your field here at Martinsville. But that's going to do it for our midway race break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, you can visit iracing.com to sign up today. Thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iracing.com/membership. Use the code PR-GRC. Get yourself a little bit of a discount if you want to hop on the iRacing service. Green here from Martinsville. Devin Morgan going to pull away about a car length on Tommy Ryan as we thunder back to turn number 1.
Wow, Devin Morgan gets quite a run there. Almost 2 car lengths run at the flag.
Yeah, he was able to get a good restart there, but Tommy Ryan closing that gap here right now. And as for Jeff Ward, gonna jump to the inside. Cars going spinning just in front of the screen there. Caution gonna fly. We just talked about him. Reed Rundell. Issues for the 43. Gonna bring out our 6th caution this evening, and caution fever continues from the paperclip. See if we can get a second look at that.
Yeah, and I imagine that Matt Kocher is probably pretty disappointed. He was very, very smart on going to the outside on that restart to try to get around Jeff Ward, and almost had him there if it wasn't for that caution.
Yeah, absolutely, but just things not quite working out. We get a second look at that, and that was middle of the straightaway.
Wow.
Interesting. I don't know if the 43 thought he was clear to the inside or what the case. Yeah, he just kind of was leaning over.
Came right down on him, yeah.
I don't know. That's a very odd incident, but nonetheless, caution gonna fly there. It's like the 43. I mean, he's got the spotter in his ear, Jacqueline, but I mean, despite that, just kind of turned left.
Yeah, he did. I mean, the 87 clearly was right there, and the spotter should have been telling him inside, and sure enough, took him right around.
So that's going to bring out another caution here. Drivers faking a pit road. They're not going to be coming down pit road, though. So once again, another issue there. That's not quite a washing up issue. That was just Reed Rundell. I don't know if he just had some wheel left in it or what the case may have been, but either way, maybe a lack of concentration might have been part of it, because he nearly just ran over Wesley Whitfield there on the pace lap as well. So Reed not having the greatest evening here, so we'll have to refocus here and get things refired. Yeah, that 43, not really sure what's going on. He might be trying to type in chat right now or do something, but that car, for whatever reason, not looking all put together right now.
No, absolutely, and you really have to be checking your mirrors. You can't always depend on your spotters as well, but definitely should have caught that one. The 87 had the right to be there, so gonna cost him.
Yeah, and I mean the 87. We'll take a look at that car and see if we see too much damage. Not seeing a whole lot. Yep, stay in signal as Kyle kind of chuckles over the radio. Yeah, we will be staying single file here, but the good news is for Christian Murphy, who spun the 43, I guess kind of not of his own volition, but did nonetheless. Not a whole lot of damage on that car, so he's pretty lucky here. That could have been a whole lot worse, might have knocked the front end in or something like that, but we're good here as we continue to pace here at Martinsville, coming back around turn number 3 and 4. Lights should go out this time, and we're past the halfway point at this point, so competition caution long since gone for these guys. It's just a case of who's going to survive, and you have to like the spot of Tommy Ryan, Jacqueline, considering we're going to have a lot of single file restarts. It's going to be hard for anybody to get past the 12.
Absolutely. And you know, between Tommy and Jeff, though, I think they have a really good chance here. But these restarts is where Morgan is getting the run on them.
Yeah, and Morgan has been making mincemeat of those restarts ever since. So, I mean, if anybody can stop him, I mean, it might come in the longer run. We'll just have to get one and see if we can find out. Pace cars in. And 12 of Devin Morgan come off turn number 4 and restart once again here from Martinsville, and not quite as good of a restart because there's Tommy Ryan. There's one shot to the back bumper as they head back to turn number 1, and to the outside Matt Cucker's gonna go 69 trying to power it off turn number 2. Nope, not quite able to make it happen, but still side by side for third. But Tommy Ryan making it plain, he is not losing this lead.
Absolutely. I mean, he really wants to keep Morgan behind him, and now's the time to do it, especially if we just go green the entire time. He could get a run in front of him and take off. So, yeah, Tommy made a good move there.
Yeah, he did, and still going to be hounding the back bumper of Devin Morgan right now. So just letting him know he's there. That's the first step. Of course, if we go by the Ted Christopher rule, he's got 2 more before Devin Morgan's going to end up backwards in the fence. So we'll just have to see if that pans out. McCucker's still on the back bumper of Jeff Ford. Will hop on board the 69 as he comes off turn number 2, heading back towards turn number 3. And Matt Cucker has been one of the standout drivers in these late model stocks. Of course, we ran this division over the winter time with the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series, where we ran at Myrtle Beach pretty much every week for about 3 months or so, and he was the king of that division and shown why he's very fast in these late model stock cars as we come off turn number 2 once again, and right to the back bumper, turn 5 live. Hey, it's a show on PMN you can listen to. Hey, guess what? I'm on PMN too. So I guess there's some cross marketing right there, but off turn number 4, Cucker's still hanging tough in your top 4, and the top 5 really hasn't changed since the drop of the green flag, Jacqueline.
No, it really hasn't. All these guys have started up front and they've stayed up front. But I think that does contribute to Martinsville and the fact that we've had to do single file restarts every single time. So it definitely helps with position and with this being a tough track to pass.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cucker's still hunting down Jeff Ward, and I see lap traffic in front of our leaders there. That's going to throw us for a little bit of a loop. That's Matt Chinoski, the 03. Has been through a fair amount of the wars tonight, and the driver out of the Bootleg Racing League, fortunately not having the night he wants, but nonetheless, you can see just massive damage to that car. He is, I'd say, at least 10, 15 mile an hour slower than the rest of the field here, Jacqueline, and that's going to be a big issue here, especially if these guys start going side by side.
Yeah, and he really just needs to pull down and get out of that race groove or move up, you know. Yeah, and really he's doing it right there and letting them get by. And unfortunately, Martinsville is not a good track to be a lap car. You can tear up a lot of stuff doing it that way, but, you know, got to get up to speed, man.
Yeah, got to get up to speed or find a way off the racetrack. So, big time issues. You can see the 03 got in front and was kind of holding up Jeremy Adams there, the 89. But so far, for the most part, everyone was able to get through scot-free. One driver who had a little bit of an issue was the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson, and the driver of the American Pool Supply Chevrolet right now. And he's been sitting in 6th, but has had a decent day all night. Started 12th and up to 6th, so basically our biggest mover. And it's been hard to be able to make those moves, Jacqueline, but the fact Brandon's up this far with as many single-file restarts as we've been having kind of says a lot to how fast that 56 is. It's just in the foreground. Cucker thought about getting around Ward, but putting a nose to the outside. But he's looking now, and he's got help with the teammate behind him of Christian Peterson. So 2 teammates there, and if you're keeping count, I believe the 56... No, he's not teammates with him. So I thought Wilkinson and Ward were in the same camp, but sadly not. But nonetheless, the 2 teammates split by, encompassed by 2 different drivers as well. But Cucker and Peterson staying together. Coming off turn number 4 that time, and continuing lap 67 as... Oh, that's problems at 61 of Milbachler. Same story, second verse here, Jacqueline. Another car that's just very heavily damaged and just doesn't have the speed as the lead lap cars. And this is going to get a little bit dicey into turn number 3.
Yikes, yeah, it is. And yeah, I was reading up on James, and I'm not sure how many races he's been involved in iRacing here, but you definitely have to be careful. And I think this is a tough track for drivers in general. Those corners are difficult, and when you're trying to get by somebody, or again, if you're not up to speed 100%, then you're just going to tear up your car.
And meanwhile, we pick ride back on board Matt Cucker 69 because he's looking to the inside of Jeff Ward, and these 2 going for that final step on the podium. Cucker, you can see him diamonding the corner a little bit where Ward's driving the more conventional line, and of course, diamonding the corner is something that if you can... Oh, there's one tap to the 7 of Jeff Ward. He's looking to the inside that time, but diamonding the corner here, Jacqueline, is one way to kind of do the corner entry a little bit different, and you can see him just get right back on the back bumper. That car seems to be rolling the center a little bit better than what Ward's doing right now.
Yes, it definitely is. And although this is a really good driving method, it can wear out your tires. But I will say that Matt is a little bit of a dark night right now. I mean, Morgan has a strong car, but he's driving very aggressive, and he's working his way through the field. And this is how you do it when you aren't getting those double file restarts. This is the only way you're going to be able to get by the car in front of you, is make your moves. And we're on lap 71 right now, so there's not much time left, and Morgan's just going to keep pulling away if he doesn't do something now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cucker trying to make the diamonding work, and Ian Plash in the comments. Tony Stevens, no, he's a little bit busy tonight, so I didn't want to disturb him too much, but who knows, maybe he'll make an appearance here before too long. But you can see the 7, that car just is getting all sorts of just kind of stuck on the inside, just hasn't been able to find a whole lot of dynamics going through the corner, and that's allowed Cucker to be able to just roll the center a little bit better. But you can see probably the tire's going to start falling off the 69. With that being said, though, we're almost to the 3/4 point of the race, and that's going to make it a whole lot easier for him to pull away before the end of this thing. But Devin Morgan continues to lead Tommy Ryan. It's about 2 car lengths as we come to start lap number 75.
And at this point of the race, as we get closer to the finish, you're going to start seeing those drivers, those really skilled drivers that have been saving up until this point, start to turn up the throttle just a little bit more, start to push the car just a little bit more. So we're really going to see who's been saving and who's been going all out.
Yeah, we are. And Devin Morgan as basically him and Tommy Ryan have opened up. It's about 1.3 seconds or so on Jeff Ward and Matt Cucker. So those two, it's kind of two packs right there. And Brendan Wilkinson, meanwhile, Christian Peterson has had a very not Christian Peterson evening, because he has not been a factor at all in this race. And that Vincier 6-Man Inc. car has been basically just kind of stagnant all day, stayed with his teammate for a while, but now Brandon Wilkinson has gone by, so 56 has moved up into that 5th position here, so look for him to try and make things happen here before the end of the race. Back to turn numbers 3 and 4, and you can see Matt Cucker still trying to make things work, and just sadly, I think he might be waiting towards more to the end of this thing to try and make things happen, because Jeff Ward has been defending that bottom side like just no one's been able to get past him here. So an excellent job by Jeff Ward, but there goes Matt Cucker. Just as I say that, Ward floated up the track, and that was just the window Cucker needed. Gonna fire the car down to the inside, gets a little bit of a wiggle there off the corner, but able to drop in. So he took a look that time, Jacqueline, but wasn't able to make the pass.
No, and you know, one thing here is you have to seize the day at Martinsville. You have to take the opportunity. You have to get that spot. And really, you know, at this point, I feel like he's wasting too much time with Jeff. He's gonna have to do a little bit of bump and run, or do something here. He's just holding him up as those leaders continue to pull time away and get a bigger gap.
Yeah, they are, and darn Plash is at work, so he won't be able to join us this evening. Hopefully Chris will be able to make an appearance before too long, as there goes the one of Chad Bass. Just like that, caution flies again, and that was interesting because Bass was there going a lap down, and Jacqueline, we were worried about maybe the lap cars being a little bit of an issue. Yeah, that was a big time issue.
Oh yeah, they are.
So we'll take a second look at that on the LSR TV replay, and you can see Ward come into the corner here. He's kind of stuck behind Cucker, and well, he's not a traffic cone, so I wouldn't recommend driving through the one car, but that's basically what just happened. I mean, I think Jeff Ward was just thinking 69's rear bumper, and wasn't thinking at all about Chad Bass, and Bass just flowed up the track just a little bit, and just wrong place, wrong time, really.
Yeah, it definitely was there, and you know, no offense to him, but he wasn't anywhere close up to race speed here. So as you can see, that's kind of what happens when you're up in the groove.
And with that, we're gonna take a moment to step aside here on LSR TV. 16 laps to go here before the end of this thing. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a moment of the action right here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing, BRB. Back live here at Martinsville Speedway, and lights out on the pace car. So we're going to go double file for the first time in quite a while here at Martinsville, but nonetheless back live. Cisco Scarmuza, Jacqueline Drake, and hopefully a soon approaching Chris Murdoch before too long, but side by side. And We'll see if we can make it to the end of this thing with the dual file restart. Kyle's trusting these guys to do it, so let's see if we can make it happen. Pace car to the inside this time as we pace through turns 3 and 4. Field going to be in the hands of Devin Morgan as we come off turn number 4 and go green once again from Martinsville Speedway, and a huge shot to the back end of Devin Morgan by Matt Cucker. He's going to look. He thought about making it 3 wide, not going to do it through. And they come off turn number 2 this time, side by side. Ryan versus Morgan as the 7 award gets into the wall, and they all shuffle and car around behind, and it's a massive incident. 06 of Joshua Cox. I believe that was the 90 of Jeremy Watkins, and just like that, we're going to tear out a whole bunch of cars.
Wow, and sure enough, there is the big one here at Martinsville. We have 7, 8, looks like, cars involved in that wreck, and there's that Snow White car too, all white.
Yeah, well, Wesley Whitfield not only run into more issues here, but running into issues with our paint service, so we'll have to get that sorted out with him. But yeah, you can see the 06 gets turned. That was more kind of towards up ahead, so we'll wind it back a little bit further and see if we can see what happened. But yeah, the 06, so you see him up on the outside. He's with Dwight Beverly here once we take a second look at it. Oh, that was actually a little bit of a stack up, so we'll wind it back one more time. So we get the restart here. You can see the 02, Dwight Beverly, all over the back bumper of the 31 of Douglas Miller. That's going to stack everybody up, especially that wiggle. And just the 9 of Randy Yoakum just comes up, washed up, spins the 06 out, right into the 90, and right into the plain white car, that 71. And just like that, another chain reaction wreck. And with that, Jacqueline, we bring out the caution again, and under 15, going to be less than 10 to go when we get the green flag here.
Yeah, and now track position is really important, so I'm sure everybody was excited to see that double file restart. It's really given a lot of these competitors a chance to make moves, but in these final 10 laps, I bet we're going to see more cautions from this.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if that was the case, but of course these guys going to be fixed at 100 laps if we're not green white checkered in this thing, so if they end this under caution, that's on them. So we'll just have to see if these guys can compose themselves. Could be the last restart here this evening, because with the way the math checks out here, we get another 3 laps of pacing or so. By the time we might get a green white checkered if the caution comes out immediately. But apart from that, if the caution comes out maybe a lap later, we're ending this thing under pacing. So 12 of Devin Morgan continues to lead the field and basically has led the most laps. Well, he hasn't basically led the most laps. He has led the most laps all day after he took over the lead from Jeff Ward. And Tommy Ryan's been hanging around in that second spot all day, but just hasn't had the opportunity to get back by Morgan. Has been strong on these restarts though, Jacqueline, so may have one last shot to make it happen.
Yeah, and if anybody can do it, then Devon Morgan can do it. These restarts, like you said, he's been strong all day long, and as long as he doesn't get a bump from behind or get turned, then I think this one might be in the bag for him.
Yeah, we'll just have to see, as Devin Morgan now going to pick the outside line. That's interesting. He's going to be starting on the outside, so maybe trying to get the jump and maybe getting the diamonding of the corner effect. He might feel that the corners, like we said, are a little bit too rubbered in on that inside line, so we'll have to see if that's going to make any difference or if Tommy Ryan's going to be able to take advantage here on the restart. Pace cars in for what could be the final restart on the day. There's the green flag. Devin Morgan on the gas pedal. He wasn't able to break away from Tommy Ryan, and this could have backfired for Devin Morgan. Tommy Ryan dives into the inside. He's going to force Devin Morgan out of the way, and Tommy Ryan might take the lead. No, they both get loose off the corner side by side. They head back to turn number 3. Tommy Ryan still trying to make it work on the inside. Devin Morgan trying to apex out, see if he can hold on to it. As a nose in front as they cross the start-finish line. 7 laps to go here as Tommy Ryan still going to try and apex in, and no car around behind. That's 7 of Jeff Ward. There he goes. No caution. Still there it is. Caution flag flies. That's it. Devin Morgan going to walk away here with the victory unless we get a green-white checkered, but I think it might have been a little bit too late. But Jeff Ward goes around in the back to bring out another yellow here, and we knew it was coming there, Jacqueline. We saw it off in the corner of the screen, and that was a massive crash here because that start, Jeff Ward was in about 5th, and he just gets turned off the 87, and after that, oh man, that was about 8 cars right there.
Wow, yeah, another big one there. But let's talk about Devon Morgan here, because he really almost messed up and gave this race away to Tommy Ryan. I mean, that strategy of going the inside did not work out very well for him. He just got lucky here, I see.
Yeah, and I think the game plan for Devon Morgan was the fact that he thought he was going to get a better jump off the restart. But the problem was, it doesn't matter about the jump you get off the restart, Jacqueline, because if you just dive it to the inside and shove the guy out of the way a little bit, all of a sudden, whatever jump you got in the restart doesn't matter, and that's what Tommy Ryan did, and not quite enough to be able to get there, but if we get another restart, which we may just do so because we only have 5 laps to go, we may get another shot at this, and it might be a green-white checkered. In that case, Devon Morgan, pick the inside. Just pick the inside, because if you pick the outside, I don't think Tommy Ryan's brake pedal is going to work going back to turn number 1.
No, and who blames him? I mean, pedal to the metal, right? Just throw it in there and let the fenders catch him. So maybe he's going to have a better strategy here this time.
Yeah, so we'll just have to see if that works out. Gary Weaver will be joining us in the broadcast booth following the race here, but gonna get 3 laps to go this time, and we're waiting on the pace car to see if the lights go out. Nobody's come up to congratulate. We can't see when the flag state is gonna go 1 to green here, so we may get an opportunity to get 1 final lap at this. So lights gonna stay on. So at this point, if we get the green flag, it's gonna be a 1-lap shootout. So 2-lap shootouts out the window. We'll just have to see what it's gonna be. But your top 10 as they run right now. Devon Morgan started 3rd, has been able to lead the most laps here this evening. Tommy Ryan, the very fiery restart, just hasn't been able to make it happen quite yet. He's running 2nd. Matt Cucker is running 3rd, with Christian Peterson somehow rallying to 4th behind his teammates. So we said he'd kind of fallen off, but the restart areas have been working for him, so he's able to work his way back to 4th. Then you got Brandon Wilkinson, Jeremy Adams, Joe Burkett, Brandon Stokes, Reed Rundell, and Todd Novosad. Your top 10 as the lights are out on the pace car. That means one thing, Jacqueline. 1-lap restart, and Devon Morgan, I think, smartly picked the inside this time.
Yeah, I think he learned his lesson on that last restart, and now we're really going to see how Tommy Ryan can work that outside lane.
Yeah, we are. Pace car, for the final time, going to run for the hills at this point. Get out of the way, because who knows what's going to happen, because the white flag flies. There's no caution flag coming out, so anything could happen. Is it going to be Devon Morgan, Tommy Ryan, Matt Cucker, or maybe somebody else? We'll have to find out. Restart here in Martinsville. Tommy Ryan got a good run on the outside. White flag, and Cucker thought about it, only made contact. Devon Morgan going to shoot him up the track, and here comes Cucker down to the inside. They'll be side by side. They go down the back straightaway, and it opened up perfectly for Matt Cucker. Heads to turn 3 and 4. Out goes to the outside. That was Peterson. No worry about that. And Matt Cucker is going to win here at Martinsville. Have you ever?
Sucks. Wow, what a finish. Who would have guessed it? Pretty much just took out the whole top 4 there.
And that wasn't even Cucker giving the boot to Morgan. No. That was the case of Cucker just moving in at the right time. So we'll do this again here on the chopper cam, but you see the 12, he got the restart, and I think he was thinking, he was way too worried about Tommy Ryan, and you can see Cucker go the inside, and yeah, I think Morgan, I don't think he had any intention of getting into Cucker at all. I don't think he thought Cucker was going to be a factor, and as for the 12, just sending the 23 there at the end, not sure what happened there, but either way, talk about right place, right time. Matt Cucker walks away here and with another checkered flag.
Yeah, Morgan really, once he got into Ryan, he lost his momentum, and so he couldn't get back up to speed. And Matt just had that momentum and went right past him and took off. And so right time for him. Congratulations to Matt Coker.
Yeah, Matt Cucker is going to get the victory here from Martinsville, and we're going to have the opportunity to talk to him here before too long. Before we do that, we'll run you through your LSR TV post-race results here from Martinsville for the first 100 of the Paperclip 270. Matt Cucker gets the victory. Brandon Wilkinson going to finish 2nd, 3rd to Devon Morgan, 4th going to go to Brandon Stokes. Reed Rundell going to finish 5th, then 6th to Christian Murphy, 7th going to go to Matt Shinoski, 8th going to go to Jeremy Adams, 9th going to go to Todd Novosad, and Tommy Ryan rounds out your top 10. Then, of course, in 11th, you've got Christian Peterson. 12th going to go to Joe Burkett. 13th going to go to Cam Davidson. 14th to Randy Oakham. 15th to Dwight Beverly. 16th to Brad Carpenter. 17th going to go to Scott Austin, Jeff Ward, Douglas Miller, and James Milbachler. Round out your top 20. Then you got Joshua Cox, Jeremy Watkins, Wesley Whitfield, Chad Bass, Sean Cross, Wally Wilson, and John Lyday, your 27th and final finisher here from Martinsville. And as it said on the ticker on the top there, those results are very, very, very unofficial. So we'll get an opportunity to find out what happened from the winner, and we'll talk to him here once we step aside here for the moment here on LSR TV, talking to Matt Cucker here right after this. Three, two. Back live here at Martinsville Speedway, caught up with the guy who brings home the checkered flag for the first time this evening, Matt Cucker. You get it done again. That restart at the end, man, that was crazy. Walk us through it.
Oh yeah, definitely. That last restart, it was crucial. I knew what I had to do, and I was hoping that he would make the mistake when shifting, and he did it. I mean, the restarts before that, I was thinking about going 3 wide, and then I didn't. I always backed out of it. And then I knew one lap shootout would be my only chance to try and get the win, so I knew I'd have to show my nose in there to at least think I was going to drive it in deep, and it worked out good. And finally, I mean, I feel bad for Tommy out there. He just was tore up the track, but I mean, we'll take it. It was that was a tough one.
Yeah, it was. It looked like it was so hard to pass out there, Matt. The bottom line was getting rubbered in, and with all those single file restarts, it just looked like passing was nigh on impossible out there.
It was, for sure. I mean, I kept trying to get around Jeff Ward for I don't know how many laps, and finally I got the outside to work, and once I was able to get into third, it was just all about riding. The yellows came out, which would help, and then
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it all seemed to work out for you, Matt, here. Sponsors, shout-outs, everybody who makes it happen for you.
I got to thank Team Vincier, Globalcom, Turn 3 Auto Transport, Austin Designs, Peterson Irrigation. I mean, everyone who helps this team work and go to the front every week.
All right, well, that's Matt Cucker is able to get the victory here from Martinsville. And Matt, are we going to see you in the super late models? I believe so.
Yeah, I think I'm slated to start second, but I don't know how well the car's going to work. I didn't put in too much testing, and it hasn't been going good the last week at Martinsville in the super, so we'll see what happens.
Alrighty, well, that's Matt Cucker, and we'll see him in the super race, find out how fast that car is. But that'll do it for us here for the late model stock race portion of this evening. And before we jump away completely, Jacqueline, final thoughts here. It was your first iRacing broadcast, and it was a little bit glitchy here and there for us, but initial thoughts here. Well, first off, once again, welcome to the sim, but thoughts on the race?
Wow, definitely Martinsville being my first iRacing experience here to join you in the booth is definitely one to watch as side-by-side racing and lots of action here in this feature tonight. So thanks for having me, Cisco, and hope to join you guys soon.
Yeah, and we'll hopefully see you here in about 2 weeks' time when we head to Linear Raceplex there, and that'll be in 2 weeks. But for that, we're going to step aside here and go to a little bit of an elongated break, and with that, we're going to take a look at the highlights while we run the super late models. So let's find out what happened in the super late model race over this past weekend at Orange County Speedway. Here's Tony Stevens.
And Setzer with Peltier alongside, gonna lead him along down into turn number 1. Whoa, hello, Preston Peltier. What happened to him? Matt Craig motored around the outside of him. Up the track goes Peltier. Here comes Ankrum. Something is wrong with Preston Peltier. As they work their way through turns 3 and 4. But like you said, maybe a little low on tire pressure. Oh, problems! Peltier up into the outside wall. Here comes Batten, Fogelman, and others getting into it. Molly Helmuth spins to avoid, as does the 37 of Speedy. In fact, that top 3 group starting to pull away. Problems, turn number 1. Up in the outside wall, that is Corey Heim. Here, third try at this one. 7 laps complete, and already Matt Craig getting aggressive up front, and that allows Setzer to pull away by about a car length and a half here as they work through turns 3 and 4. Brandon Setzer continues running. Problems, turn number 2. Up in the outside wall is Matt Craig. It appears that car's still rolling. Not sure what the issue is. $500 on the line, and Stephen Massey wants it. He drives Brandon Setzer up the racetrack, and Setzer continues to power through turns 3 and 4. And Setzer going to work his way out of turn number 4. Lap number 30 is complete. Brandon Setzer, $500 richer spot. You see Steve Wallace now trying to find a way around the 74. Brian, more problems. Turn 1. Up in the outside wall is Jody Meesmer. And I can hear that one from here. Meesmer, something expired on that car.
Rafael Lazar looks like he's going to get by on the outside of him as well. That outside line looks to be really strong tonight.
Rafael Lazar on the outside, that black Kyle Busch Motorsports number 51. Lazar looking for second. And he'll get it this time off turn number 4. Lazar, P2, Massey back to third.
You know, great race right here with Bubba Pollard and Jared Pryor. Pollard looks like he seems to get the spot or keep the spot.
Yep. And that's for 4th spot. Bubba Pollard taking it away from Jared Pryor.
You know, Bubba Pollard there maybe getting a little antsy right here, trying to get around this lap traffic, trying to keep Stephen Massey behind him. And Tyler Ankrum also right there on the bottom, trying to get under Stephen Massey. It looks like a good race right there.
Off turn number 4, Brandon Setzer will see lap number 90, and he will win the 2nd stage of the Mid-Atlantic Classic. Setzer another $500 richer. And Thrifty Tire Center pace truck hits the pit lane. Brandon Setzer and Rafael Lazar lead him off into turn number 1. Up the hill goes Lazar. Lazar, a big slip over in the first turn. Nearly an opportunity for Tyler Ankrum, Bubba Pollard, and everybody else to make their way around. He's able to hang on to it for now as we see Corey LaJoy and Steve Wallace racing side by side. Now, Wallace starting to drift back just a little bit, but we know he's got 4 tires left. Oh, big hit, turn number 1. Holy cow, what happened to the 17 of Mike Speedy? That was a massive shunt. Brandon Setzer and Stephen Massey already playing games to the restart zone. Here we go. Setzer on the loud pedal, and the noise ratio increases as they motor off into turn number 1. Again, Massey unable to get that car to turn. Setzer pulls away, and Pollard on the outside racing with Rafael Lazard. Move Pollard now to third as he gets around Lazard here in the opening lap after the green. And Brandon Setzer is going to sail it into turn number 3, and he'll win the 3rd stage of the Mid-Atlantic Classic. Another $500 in the pocket of Brandon Setzer and company. Brandon Setzer and Stephen Massey, dead heat at start-finish. The final 20 circuits of the Mid-Atlantic Classic, and look at him running up the hill. Stephen Massey ran Brandon Setzer all the way into the outside wall, and now we have a new leader. Massey to the point with 19 laps to go.
I think, Hayes into the wall and going into turn 1 right there. Hard impact for him right there on his right rear quarter panel.
Hard impact for Roy Hayes. We are under caution now with 18 circuits remaining. Now, this time, Stephen Massey and Bubba Pollard, and Pollard gets the forward drive through the Jericho Performance restart zone, leaving Stephen Massey in his wake. What a power move by Bubba Pollard to take the lead from Massey with 18, now make it 17 laps to go. With Brandon Setzer out of the picture, We don't know who's going to be good here. We haven't really paid attention except in relation to the 6 of Setzer.
And he executed, and now he's up front with 11 laps to go.
Whoa, Steve Wallace into Matt Craig. He's into Corey LaJoy. Somehow everybody holds on to it. Craig can't be happy about that one. And Wallace going to run LaJoy up the hill. That's going to move Steve-O up into position number 6 with 10 laps to go. If we get another caution, Steve Wallace might be dangerous at this point.
I definitely.
Fryer moves to third. Lassard gets into him, sends him up the hill. Meanwhile, white flag in the air for Bubba Pollard. Pollard going to sail off to turn 1. 6 car lengths over the 51 of Stephen Nasse. And Pollard has got chaos behind him as they are 2 and 3 wide. But Bubba Pollard's going to win $10,000 here at the Mid-Atlantic Classic at Orange County Speedway. Stephen Nasse finishes second, followed by Jared Fryer unofficially. Rafael Lassard and Tyler Ankrum will go down and chat with Bubba Pollard in Victory Lane.
Back live here at Martinsville Speedway for the second race on the evening of tonight's Paperclip 270 here from Ridgeway, Virginia, and the Martinsville Speedway. Cisco Scaramuza and, well, Jacqueline and Matt are going to go on to go do some more driving. So with that, I welcome in Gary Weaver, not Chris Murdoch, because apparently anything I want to go right apparently won't go right, and therefore we've lost Chris this evening. But it's okay because we've got Gary. So Gary, you're able to hear kind of the end of that first race, but Martinsville Super Late Models, we've had a week of official of this, so we kind of know what to expect, but what are you expecting coming into tonight?
Well, I managed to actually catch just the final laps of that race, and most likely I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing that at the end of this race as well, Cisco. So, at this rate, though, throughout this entire race, we'll definitely be seeing some battling, but considering that's 170 laps, it does seem long. It goes by quickly, but in the early portions of this race, I feel like we're going to be seeing everybody take their time and try and figure out what the right space is for their car.
Absolutely, and we have some rules to go through, so let's knock those out right now. Well, there's your Super Late model. It's the Iracing Super Late model. It's an open setup, straight rail chassis, 2,800 pounds, 550 plus brake horsepower, top speed of 190 miles an hour this evening. Now, that's not very different from what we normally have, but this is what is. It's 170 laps, but we will have 3 segment breaks. The first one at lap number 40, the second one at lap number 75, and the last one at lap number 120. Now, these drivers have 4 tires, or 2 jacks as we count it here on iRacing, that they are able to use during any of the 3 stage breaks. And any drivers, obviously the pit stop's going to take a while because these are super late models. If you do go a lap down during that service, you'll get waved back around the pace car, so that won't be an issue. But the drivers will be waved around, and they are racing off pit road for position, keep in mind. So we still have to worry about that. So if you stay out, you're going to be ahead of any of the guys that come down pit road. Taking tires, if you take tires at any other point, you're going to get DQ'd, and if you take more than 2 jacks, you're going to get DQ'd as well. So plenty of strategies here tonight. Gary, what, in your mind, do you take all 4 tires at once, or do you take 2 at the beginning and maybe 2 at the end? What are you thinking here?
Well, essentially, like you mentioned, 3-point pit stop, so that gives you 3 chances, or at least 3 points of you to plan out which pit stop you can pretty much pit at. But I'd say use up your tires through pretty much the essential course of the entire race. It could hurt you in the long run, but if you want, I'd say at least take 2 tires at 75 and then 2 tires at 120 and hope everything goes well from then.
With that, qualifying, or the warm-up timer hits 0, so we're going to run you through your LSR TV starting grid, this time with actual graphics, because now Cisco's actually gotten his act together. Rafe Slate going to start on pole in the 08 with the time of 19.277. And to his outside is going to be Matt Cucker in the 69, who won the race just a moment ago, and he'll be starting second here from Martinsville. Third going to go to Justin Tromley. 4th place position starter will be William Hale. 5th to Corey Heim, who just competed over the weekend at the Cars Tour race in Orange County. Christian Peterson going to start 6th. 7th to Tommy Ryan. Jake Watson going to start 8th. 9th going to go to Jeff Ward, and Andrew Wooten rounds out your top 10.
11th goes to AJ Rogers. Joe Burkett starts on the outside in 12th place. Charlie Melvin and Jeremy Adams 13th and 14th respectively. Trayton Lapsevich, that was close, starts in 15th. Brandon Wilkinson starts in 16th in that 56. Dawson Fletcher starts 17th, 18th. John Lyday, Brad Carpenter, and Guillaume Fortin 19th and 20th.
Guillaume Fortin, as Kelly Dahl would say. 21st to Devin Morgan, 22nd to Jeremy Watkins. Wally Wilson going to start 23rd, looking for a better race here. 24th to Scott Austin, 25th to Randy Oakham, Brandon Stokes 26th, and Dwight Beverly rounds out your 27 car field. So Martinsville hasn't changed though. If you noticed, it is now late afternoon here, so we are in some shade here, so that's something to take note of. And of course, with 170 laps here, the tire buildup on that inside line, Gary, will be a little bit higher than it was before. Not to mention these cars, of course, more powerful, going to put down more rubber as the race goes on.
Yeah, watch for that inside line to rubber up a lot more than the last race, because that's definitely going to be something, again, to look out for, and something that these drivers can also watch out for as we reach the 1 to green point of this caution period.
Yeah, absolutely. But the lights are out, and we're going to go green this time. We pace around turns 1 and 2 right now, reminding you, of course, that coverage of the Cars eSport Tour tonight is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing sponsor of LSR TV. You can check them out today at joel-real-timing.com. The pace car is in. The field in the command of the 08 of Rafe Slate. Let's see what he's going to be able to do as that Toyota Camry going to come off turn number 4, and we are going to get the green flag for 170 laps of racing back here at Martinsville.
Clean through turns 1 and 2 right now, and everyone's still side by side battling for position, but Matt Cucker trying to battle back on the outside this time around at the start-finish line. It will be that number 69 of Matt that got the lead and can't complete the pass on the outside through turns 1 and 2. Nothing as of yet, as everyone's slowly starting to sort out single file.
Yeah, they are, and it's gotten a little bit cleaner here so far, and Cucker going to try and pick up where he left off in the late model stock race and jump to the lead, and he will be able to clear that 08 this time. So single file through about your top 10 or so. Meanwhile, going to back further, looking for single file battle is that 7, Jeff Ward. He's also right back to where he was, fighting with another driver. That's the 2 of Andrew Wooten. Those two going side by side. Wooten in that black car, Ward in the blue car as we come off turns number 3 and 4. Meanwhile, side by side, Justin Trombley to the inside of Rafe Slate. Slate running into issues early here, and that car not looking particularly happy right now here, Gary.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's gotten the momentum as of yet. Maybe caught off guard just a little bit, almost making contact there with that number 62 of William Hale in turns 3 and 4, as now they head down to turns 1 and 2 once again for the 5th time. And Rafe has finally made his way down into single file formation once again, which brings the battle right behind them. The 23 of Christian Peterson, the 78 of Corey Heim.
Yeah, absolutely. And Heim's going to be one to watch here, of course, running very similar colors, as close as we can get it to the car that he ran at Orange County Speedway. You saw that during the recap, not the outing that he wanted, but nonetheless going to get right up next to the 88 of Jake Watson there. They'll continue to go side by side, and going to clear him now. So Corey Heim going to drop in behind the 88 there, so keep an eye on that driver. He's looking for a little bit more, and definitely looking for a lot better of a weekend here at Martinsville. And Jake Watson's been rolling through the field as well, doing an excellent job in that Chevrolet. And also did want to point out new stickers on the William Hale machine, who he's moved up into P number 3 this time, and it's Mustang stickers because, well, of course, with Ford shifting and putting Mustang first into the Cup Series, he's re-stickered the super late model in real life, and now he's re-stickered the super late model here on iRacing. So nice looking car there for Hale as he heads to turn number 3.
Starting to notice a pattern there for him, but nonetheless, Randy Oakham unfortunately ran into a couple of problems. He got turned around turns 3 and 4, but it was so far in the back of the pack that essentially Race Control decided to not throw a caution, or at least iRacing in this case. So still going forward are all these drivers as the 12 and the 90 almost make contact coming off of turn number 4. But now this is going to put them into the clutches of the leaders essentially in just a few moments, as Rafe is still, at least Jake Watson was on the inside in turns 3 and 4, couldn't really get down to the inside and stick with that momentum on the inside. But it looks like he's looking to the inside. 08 protects, and well, Rafe has now managed to slot himself into the top 5.
Yeah, Rafe has been able to kind of slow the bleeding a little bit, fell down a lot of positions, but now is able to slot in and kind of stop everything for the moment, kind of reset his bearings here. So meanwhile, that bright red super late model of Christian Peterson's been on the move a little bit here so far. Started 6th, he's up to 4th right now to come off turn number 2 this time, and an excellent job by Peterson as well here, and he's had a good going so far here, Gary, and now looks like we're going to be joining the booth here in a little bit, but Christian Peterson able to move out to a couple car length lead, and Watson's looking for more down on the inside. Locked it up a little bit there, and doink, a little bit to the front there of Jake Watson there, so a little bit of damage. And able to hold on to it as we continue to stay green flag here. So this race a little bit calmer than the LMSC race that preceded it.
Yeah, Watson was on the back bumper a lap ago of Rafe Slate coming out turn number 2. Now he's going to be down to the inside in turns 3 and 4 right now. So Jake Watson essentially a little bit of a wiggle coming off of turn number 4. So at the moment that gives the advantage to that 08 on the outside of Slade. But like who's lurking right behind them is Corey Helm at 78. So essentially he could just follow that. He could follow Jake Watson at 88 and essentially give a, if you will, slower and a less draft, if you will, a less slipstream needed freight train of only about 2 drivers. But now Rafe is still stuck on the outside as Jake manages to make his way around, and well, unfortunately Corey Heim couldn't get that momentum off of turn number 2, so he's going to fall single file behind that 08.
Yeah, he will. So Rafe Slate doing trying to slow down the bleeding, but still not working for him. Meanwhile, Corey Heim, that 78's been kind of slowly moving through this field, so that's 78 up to actually no, he kind of fell down, started 5th. So actually Corey Heim has kind of gone a little bit backwards here, but just trying to make things happen. So Matt Cucker, meanwhile, continuing to lead, and Justin Tromley 2nd, and William Hale 3rd. All 3 of those guys out to basically out in the middle of nowhere. Same with Christian Peterson. They're out on their lonesome, and then you see Watson, and kind of an accordion effect starting to form behind the 08 of Rafe Slade, and we've seen that car hasn't had the speed that he's wanted, and Gary, I have to think that that's just not helping for Slade at all, in the fact that he's kind of stacking everybody up behind him, and that's just going to get more and more frustrating for Heim. You see the 6 of Tommy Rines back there, the 2 of Andrew Wooten.
I would say that essentially if this was later in the race that he would be great with the pit stop, but this happened essentially just pretty much right at the start of the race once Matt made his way around, and right now Rafe is just trying to do his best to protect whatever position that he can protect right now. So hopefully he can find that momentum, but now he's going to be down to the inside, taking the really protective lane, forcing that 78 to the outside, and well, it looks like that 08's just going to let them go around the difficult way, as right now Andrew Wooten makes his way to the outside. A little bit of contact, it looks like, coming off the wall out of turn number 4 on the outside lane. So Rafe is still trying to, again, protect whatever they can, but trying to make the drivers go around the hard way. But unfortunately, it's not working out to his advantage right now.
Yeah, it is. And finally, we can welcome in Mr. Chris Murdoch here, another one of the guys who was out there at Orange County Speedway this weekend. And Chris, glad to have you aboard. And so far, it's been a very calm, all considering, super late model race here at Martinsville.
Yeah, hopped in the booth to get a bigger look at this field, and the first thing I noticed here, Cisco, was the separation between your top 3 drivers, that being Justin Trombley, Matt Cucker, and then, you know, just on back, there's just so much separation through William Hale, Christian Peterson, Jake Watson, and then the closest battle you got right now is Corey Heim, and then the 2 of Andrew Wooten, and then you've got the 08 of Slate and the 6 of Ryan kind of bringing up that rear. But a really calm race, like you mentioned so far, which is not something we're accustomed to here at Martinsville Speedway. So it's interesting to see these super late model drivers really work this track, be patient, because they do have a long way to go till this thing is over.
Yeah, and keep in mind we're still waiting on that first caution here. Going to be at lap number 40, and that's going to throw the tire strategy. You know, it's, are you going to take 2? Are you going to take 4? Are you going to take 3 for whatever reason? Why you would take 3? I mean, you know, it's an option though, so we'll have to see if these guys are going to do it. But continues to be spread out, like you said, Chris, at the front of the field. And Gary, Andrew Wooten's been beating down the back bumper of Corey Heim right now, trying to get by, and just not able to make it happen there, but has been closing in on that 78.
I think Andrew's trying to make a subtle saying to Corey Heim, saying, hey, you do know I'm faster than you, right? Well, unfortunately, last time around, lap times say otherwise. 2/10 of a second slower was Andrew Wooten in that number 2, but just 1 lap ago, essentially, which is just a few moments ago, 20 seconds ago at this point. Again, like you mentioned, Andrew Wooten was all over the back bumper of Corey Heim, so again, just slowly trying to make his way back up as Andrew Wooten, but looks like Corey Heim has finally pulled away, at least for the time being.
Yeah, and Heim's kind of in that position, and Chris, we talked a lot about it during the late model stock race. That bottom side, if you're down there, it's almost impossible to pass you anywhere else. The only time you're going to be doing that is late into a run once that bottom side rubbers up. That's really the only shot you're going to have to be able to make a pass on the outside. Otherwise, you're just going to get freight trained.
You're absolutely right, Cisco, because that bottom line, you're going to have to use either a bumper or you're going to have to use somebody as a pick to get by them. Meanwhile, talking about pick, Cisco, we're starting to run into some lap traffic here on the Speedway. Cucker making his way through some. Then you got William Hale, Justin Trombley working by the 10 of Brandon Stokes at this moment in time. So that's another big factor here at these short tracks. And here at Martinsville, you can always set somebody up to have that lap car in the way so you can try and maybe get around him, and that's something we're going to have to be paying close attention to during this race here.
Absolutely. Trombley going to go by Randy Yoakum here, and Lou wanting to see where Brandon Wilkinson was. Let's go find the 56 Kirkwood transportation machine, the guy who finished in your top 5, or was going to in your late model stock race. He's back here in 18th, all on his lonesome, so that's what's going on there. Meanwhile, battle in front of him, actually, and it's a battle between the 71. That's Dawson Fletcher on the inside, and Joe Burkett up on the outside. Those two going at it, Gary's. They head back to 3.
Outside Joe Burkett, inside Fletcher, trying to get by. Essentially, this could be, the inside is usually the preferred lane, but look at that momentum that the 26 got coming out of turn number 4. That's, in this case, since more with the outside lane, is definitely pulling an advantage, and look at that gap that Joe has just created, and I think the 71 got a little bit loose. He's still sticking to that inside lane, however, as they enter turns 3 and 4 once again, then, well, still, essentially, this battle is at a stalemate at the moment.
Yeah, it is, and Fletcher still trying to make the pass on Burkett as they go back to turns 1 and 2 this time, and trying to make it work, and the inside line's working, but the problem is it's so bottlenecked in front of him, he just can't get a whole lot of speed down there to be able to make the pass, so Joe's doing an excellent job up on the top side to hold his ground over Dawson Fletcher, but Fletcher's not going to give up quite yet. The Total Camry sends it down to the inside, and he's hanging tough down there, so we'll continue to fight down there on the inside, and right in front of him, you guys see Trayton Lapovich there, Jeremy Adams, 17 of AJ Rogers, and the 7 of Jeff Ward, all there as well as we start lap number 34. Going to be 7 laps to go here before the first comp caution.
7 laps to go before the comp caution, Cisco, and this is really the only gaggle of cars you got on the track. The 71 and the 28 still side by side. I don't think they'll be able to shake one another. They're going to really need a bobble for one of those drivers to shake it up. It's just too hard to pass at this moment in time. You can see the 28 working the outside line very, very well to get by and keep even with. You see him get the run out of the turn 2 there, and looks like he's going to clear that 71 machine, but there Joe goes back to the inside just to keep the nose there, keep them honest, and that's all you really need to do at this track, is to keep them honest and keep them moving around and be able to get on and keep on moving.
Yeah, absolutely, and it got a little bit physical there as Fletcher's going to drop in behind the 26 of Burkett, so they do go single file here. Going to be only about 3 laps away here from the comp caution here, and our first opportunity for these drivers to come down and take tires. Ran a very similar format to this at Orange County, and we saw some of the drivers like Stephen Wallace, Chris Murdoch, go down and wait for the last moment. I think Gracie Trotter did the same and waited and took 4 tires at the end. It didn't quite work in the way they wanted to, but you still have that option here at Martinsville.
Yeah, and Jacqueline and I were down on pit road throughout the entirety of that race, Cisco, and we really got to talk to some of the teams, talk to some of the crew members to figure out the pit strategy, and Stephen Wallace almost got it done. Just wasn't enough time for that driver. A few late cautions came out, but he was on rails with those 4 fresh tires, and that was with him waiting. So we'll have to see if any of these drivers will try to copy that strategy and try to follow suit and maybe try to get back up there and just wait and have the speed at the end.
The white flag's going to be out this time for the first stage or so. We're not giving away money for every stage, so we're not exactly like Orange County, but nonetheless, Matt Cucker going to come down the back straightaway and head his head his car into turns number 3 and 4 this time. The global comm entry comes off turn number 4, and we'll throw when the leader's on the back straightaway, but Cucker going to come to complete and lead at the competition caution as he comes around turns number 1 and 2. Yellow flag going to fly here at Martinsville, and the first opportunity to take tires is on the board for these guys. So yellow flag going to fly. Matt Cucker slows down. Trombley's going to finish in the first stage, I guess stage, quote-unquote stage, and second, third for William Hale, Christian Peterson, and Jake Watson. That's your top 5. So, well, Gary, break out the calculator, because if you're a driver out there, what are you doing?
I would be staying out at least up until the next time around. Like I mentioned earlier, just take 2 tires in one stop, 2 tires on another stop, and you should have seen the mid-pack battle from about 10th on back. Everyone decided that it was go time, and I'm going to say he was going to head to pit road in just a few moments.
There was a fake out there. Even Jake Watson caught me off guard because he swerved to pit road, but he faked me out, so I'm not super appreciative of that. I'm seeing a couple cars head down pit road. That's Jeff Ward, the 7, going to come down pit road, and right behind him, Joe Burkett, the guy who was racing there for a little bit. So those two going to come down pit road. The only 2 takers here. Interesting. So Burkett and Ward going to be the first drivers down here who are going to elect to take either 2 or 4 of their tires. See what they plan to do here, but Chris, it looks like everybody's going to wait till the 2nd or 3rd stop. Are you does that tell you that these guys are going to take all 4 at once, or that they're going to just take 2 at a time?
I think it's really too early to tell, because yes, 40 laps is a lot of laps on paper, but here at Martinsville it's not really that much. You know, they were pretty spaced out. They weren't pushing anything too hard, so to see these drivers really stay out at this moment in time doesn't really surprise me too much. I think they'll wait till maybe probably the 2nd run to come in and take their tires, and probably, if I were to guess, they would take all 4 and just go to the end. If that's my strategy, that's what I would do. But really too early to tell, because you know, a lot of the leaders who were really just spaced out and checked out away from this field stayed out, and then some of the drivers that were struggling down there, like the 71 of Fletcher, he was struggling towards the end of the run, so it was nice to see him come down and get 4 fresh tires on that. So it really just depends on where you're at in your race, whether you come down and take tires or not.
So Joe Burkett took 2 because he was only in his pit stall for about 7 seconds. Ward definitely took 4, was down there for 25. Dwight Beverly came down after that first round, and he's going to take 4 as well. Devin Morgan was on pit road. I think he had damage, though, so got some of that repaired. Not sure if he took tires. Randy Oakham was also down on pit road. I believe he did take 4 tires. So that might have been some of the lap cars or guys who had been kind of further back in your field, wait until later to get that first pit stop out of the way. But coming to start lap number 46 here, and keep in mind it's going to be about 30 laps or so until the next competition caution. That'll be at lap 75. So for these guys complete lap 75, caution will come out of the back straightaway. They'll throw the yellow, so keep in mind. Also found out Jeff Ford actually did take 2. So Joe Burkett was in his stall, so I don't know if he actually did take 2 tires. So yeah, Gary confirming that one for me. So I guess he was just down there to maybe get a top off on fuel or just to follow the back. But either way, pace car is going to head in this time, and field and control. Matt Cucker starting from the outside this time. Let's see if it works a little bit better for him than it did for Devin Morgan in the late model stock race. Green flag in the air. We're racing for another 30.
Off of turn 2, Matt Cucker and the 45 going to be side by side. Cucker going to clear Trombley going into 3, and then a shot from the back end of Trombley from William Hale going to make those cars 3 wide. Peterson on top, Hale on the bottom. Peterson up to 2nd place. Hale side by side on the inside with the 45 and trying to clear Justin Trombley. Might get the position this time, and he does, but Trombley not happy with the move that Hale made on him, because now he's stuck on the outside as all these drivers look to make their way around that 45.
Yeah, absolutely, and he's got plenty of time for some payback here, so I'd watch out for Justin Trombley. Has been bad fast in these super late models, but just hasn't, I think, had the luck that he's wanted. But going to drop in now behind Jake Watson, going to force himself down the inside. Corey Heim got absolutely juked out by that one, so I'm going to drop in behind Justin Trombley, I think involuntarily there, because he wanted to get back by the 45. That car shut the door right on him, so getting a little bit sketchy here, but Trombley moves into that 5th position, and CP, Gary, did an excellent job to get that to that 2nd spot through all that chaos, and is now starting to track down your leader just a little bit.
Peterson snuck up there throughout all of that restart debacle, if you will, or essentially just typical on-track chaos. As, of course, that's usual at Martinsville, and of course, a bit of a battle between Tommy Ryan and the 32 of Leperovich, as Ryan is on the inside lane, and just behind them, another battle between the 71 and the 89. It's Dawson Fletcher and Jeremy Adams, so essentially 2 battles in one, and of course, 32 is going to come out on top of that battle with the 6. So now it's just, again, 71 stuck on the inside again. Haven't really seen him on the inside before because it's starting to look pretty familiar for him.
Yeah, Dawson Fletcher is making his name down there on the inside line right now, and trying to make it work off the corner there, but still nothing quite working for Dawson, and he's trying to follow Tommy Ryan through as well, and it's frustrating, Chris, because you want that. Nope, never mind, we'll get back to that point in a minute. Caution flag flies. Possibly issues with Brad Carpenter, the 3 car slow here. That'll bring out our first accident caution here on the evening, our 2nd total caution, and may have gotten a little bit help there.
That's what I'm seeing here, Cisco. It's kind of what we saw between William Hale and Justin Trombley going off into the same corner, except this time the 3 just could not save it. Brad Carpenter went up on the curb and just went straight around. Luckily for him, he didn't make that hard of contact with the inside wall, kind of pushed in the left front a little bit. But as for the 02 of Dwight Beverly, he got hit by the 90 going into turn 3 as well, so heavy back end damage for the 02. So just some short track racing contact. You can see Dwight, or the 03 of Carpenter, really back it in to Dwight Beverly in the when he got back going. So definitely not happy with the 02.
Yeah, no, not at all happy with him, and that's going to be something that they'll have to talk amongst themselves a little bit, but something to note. The caution did fly, but remember, guys, you cannot take tires under an accident caution. You can only get damage repair. You see Ward down there got a little bit of that damage buffed out. You see a little bit of rear end damage on that car, so just trying to get some damage repaired or maybe top off the fuel. But either way, you're not taking tires under these cautions, only the competition cautions, or if one of the accident cautions gets turned into a competition caution, can you come down and take those tires.
That's absolutely right, Cisco. Didn't really see a lot of stuff. Well, I will take that back. We saw a lot of action under those short few laps that we were green there. We saw Peterson go 3 wide to pick up 2nd spot. We saw William Hale get into the back of the 45 of Trombley, sent Trombley back 3 positions, I might add. So unfortunate for that 45 machine. So it's going to be interesting to see what action transpires here. We still got a lot of racing left to go, so we'll have to see how everything shakes out. But Matt Cucker looking really strong here. Team Vincier as a whole really looking strong with Peterson and that 69 both 1-2.
And I sent a message because apparently YouTube has lost its mind because it thought 8,000 bit rate was less than 4,000 bit rate. So GG YouTube, you taking the L on that one, so we'll have to see if hopefully that gets sorted out. It looks like we're good right now, so if you do experience a little bit of buffering, I think YouTube's losing its mind, so just be aware. But either way, caution lights should go out this time. They do, and Matt Cucker going to take the opportunity for the 2nd time tonight to start on the outside line. So it's going to be him, Christian Peterson, Jake Watson, William Hale, and Corey Heim, your top 5. So we get set to go re-green here for the first time after an accident here at Martinsville.
Yeah, we get ready to go green. Pace car gonna duck off, Cisco, so we'll have to see how this race restart transpire. When is Cucker gonna go? Green flag in the air. Cucker gets a little bit of help from Jake Watson. Watson still on the back bumper of the 69, trying to get that that driver going. Hale on the back bumper of the 23 once again. So everybody side by side as they go off into 3.
Yeah, side by side, and Peterson trying to make it work down on the inside, and we'll try and get off the corner, and nope, not quite. Cucker's gonna have the preferred line on the outside, so he's got the drive off the corner there to be able to make it work. And Gary's done an excellent job on the top side ever since we went re-green. I wasn't sure it was gonna work, but it worked again here, and also maybe issues.
Yep, contact in the back and heavy damage goes to Dawson Fletcher. Oh, hello, Jeremy Watkins diving out of the way at the last second. No caution, unfortunately, and complete bad luck for Dawson Fletcher. I saw some contact after turn number 2. It was a stack-up effect, apparently, and of course, looks like Tommy Ryan overcorrected coming off of turn number 2 and hard into the outside wall went to number 71.
Oh yeah, we'll take a second look at it here, Gary, and see what happened. And so we head back to turn number 1, like you said, and you see the 6, the big stack up there. The 71 gets into the 6, and Tommy tries to hold on to it and fights it, and pow, right the 71 right into the wall. Guillaume Fortin also gets a little bit of issues there, but that was the incident. No caution there because no cars went around, though. So the battle continues, and the racing continues as a battle for second is on, Chris, as it's Watson to the outside.
Yeah, Watson trying to make that outside line work here. Cisco Peterson really trying to hold on to the inside line. We've never seen that 23 really good on the inside line here at that short tracks. He likes the room on the outside, and we can see it right there because Jake Watson pinches the momentum off the corner, has to let, or Peterson has to check up, so move that 88 machine up to second place. Now Peterson has to fight off William Hale. William Hale, though, has a little bit of his own problems. We know, flashback to a few laps ago, Cisco, these two, Justin Trombley and William Hale, got into it a bit going into 3, and it looked like Trombley tried to get to the back bumper of William Hale, but just didn't have the run to do it. So William Hale struggling, gets into the wall off of 2 a little bit, so we'll have to watch for this battle, see if it shapes up and becomes something more than just a friendly battle on the racetrack.
Yeah, and sorry about that. William Hale is right now running in 4th and has basically kind of been stagnant where he was. Started 4th, was in 3rd for a while when was able to get past some of the traffic, but it's now gone back to that 4th position. So it's been a very up and down, I guess, by 1 position night for William Hale. So he's been fairly stable in that top 5 or so all race long. But looking back through, trying to find some battles going on. How about John Lyday and Charlie Melvin a little bit close together? That's battle back in about your 13th, 14th position. And then looking back through the rest of your field here, Joe Burkett going at it a little bit with Guillaume Fortin. But Gary, it's kind of calm right now. It's kind of, we've hit that lull again to where once these guys get single filed out, it's very hard for them to go side by side and race for an extended period.
And we're closing in on that second competition caution of 3, lap 75. I'm glad I double-checked. I thought it was at lap 70. So, again, like you mentioned, just that calm portion of the race. And essentially, Matt Coker is essentially pretty much the same distance away between second and third. So they're essentially, in terms of car lengths, at least the same distance. And right as I say that, Christian Peterson closes the gap ever so slightly on Jake Watson. But Watson may have actually, Christian Peterson may have actually found his match aside from Matt Coker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think CP, I mean, these top 3 have been kind of on an island for most of the race. It's the way it went on the first run. It's going that way as well. But William Hale definitely not in the same situation he was in earlier, because he's got a mirror full of Justin Trombley. He's got Andrew Wooten, who's also got Corey Heim behind him. So you got about 4 cars all within a blanket of each other here, Chris, and only about 4 laps to go before we hit the second competition caution on the night.
Yeah, getting ready to hit that second competition caution. This race has been really calm here, Cisco, but it looks like it's going to start ramping up here within these next few laps because the laps are winding down. We're within 100 laps to go here at Martinsville Speedway in the super late model division, and Matt Coker starting to hit those lap traffic cars once again. You can see him working around Tommy Ryan at this moment in time while Jake Watson trying to keep up with that driver. Meanwhile, back through your top 5, nothing really working too far. You can see the 2 of Andrew Wooten get right up on Corey Heim, trying to make something there. Not going to have quite the run in 3 and 4. So battles happening, or battles shaping up, I should say, all over the racetrack right now as we're winding down this stage of racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a lap and a half or so, or I guess technically 2 laps here, because we're going to go around and start lap number 75 here. So going to be 1 to go before the end of the competition caution. And 69 going to roll into 1 and 2 this time. Jake Watson has been able to close up, but just hasn't been able to do anything. And CP has actually lost a little bit of time. Got held up with Tommy Ryan a little bit, and I think that closed in the gap for Hale and Trombley. But They're still that's still a 2-car pack, and then Heim is able to get around Wooten rather. And I'm thinking of Super Speedway Cup, but nonetheless, Cucker comes through 1 and 2, and Caution going to come out this time. Our second competition, entire Caution on the night. And here we go, strategy time, boys. And Gary, I'll start with you once again. Do you take 4 or do you take 2?
Definitely going to be seeing a lot more drivers head in. I'd take 2 tires on one side, and then maybe the same side the next lap 120 when we get the next competition caution, but it depends on the tire wear. So this time around, take 2 tires. Next time, take 2 tires.
Yeah, we'll just have to see what the strategy call is gonna be. Survey says Cucker says no, so it might be 4 tires. The call for Matt Cucker at the very end of this thing. It's an interesting call. It didn't quite work, Chris, in the real life race over the weekend, but that's because we had guys who went out and took 2 as we went along. Nobody's doing that here, so that means I think it's going to be very interesting. Everybody might just wait and put 4 fresh tires on at the last break.
I think that's what everybody's thinking, and when you're Matt Cucker, you really have some sway on what these drivers do. As we saw just that last time by Cisco, he really faked out Jake Watson. Jake had to immediately turn a hard right to keep out of the pit area. So when you're the leader and you're Matt Cucker and you don't go in, you have a lot of impact on the rest of this field, and that's exactly what happened here. So I'm going to go with you here and say 120 is going to be when these drivers go in, take 4 fresh tires, go all the way to the end, and the gloves will come off when that time hits.
Yeah, absolutely. But as they pace here at Martinsville, we're going to take a moment to step aside and go LSR TV non-stop so you don't miss a moment of the action. We'll be right back here at Martinsville Speedway with the Cars eSport Tour Super Late Model Division. You're back in a moment on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. Back live at the Martinsville Speedway, Matt Cucker to the outside here on the restart and getting ready to get things back underway here from the paperclip. We've gone 80 laps so far, and it's been the Matt Cucker show for 79 of those 81 laps, or 80 laps rather. He's only not led 1 lap, and that kind of tells you the day Matt Cucker's having. Won the late model stock race earlier tonight, and now he's trying to win the super late model races. We go re-green here off the second competition caution, and it's side by side, neck and neck between him and Watson as they head to turn number 1 here, Gary.
Still side by side, Watson with the advantage coming out of turn number 2, and well, here comes Cucker storming back on the outside lane down the back straightaway. Peterson to the inside of the number 62, 45 inside 78, side by side, essentially almost a little bit of contact it seems. And look at Peterson all over the back bumper of Watson to the inside, almost looking to make it 3 wide, couldn't get it done.
Yeah, not able to make it done, but Cucker washes up, and all of a sudden Watson back in with a shout here. He just needs to drive off the corner here, Chris, to make it happen. He's trying to make it happen as they head through 3 and 4 this time. Jake Watson very strong and hanging tough on the bottom side. Cucker just can't shake him, at least for right now. Nearly gets clear, but it's not enough quite yet.
And when you're on that outside lane, you have the luxury of being able to control how far that driver on the inside lane can drive off. You can really pinch some of that speed off. But right now, Cucker not really doing that, allowing, Jake Watson to really stay side by side, and that's really hurting him. But you can see they're still kind of pulling a decent gap on William Hale, who's kind of on an island all by himself. Behind him, Justin Trombley, Christian Peterson doing battle for the 4th place position. So it's 2 sets of 2 wide here here as we're re-green, as you mentioned. So, and Jake Watson still doing a good job at holding on, but ducks back in line. So all eyes are going to be on Christian Peterson and Justin Trombley. Take that back. Trombley got the position from Peterson. So just like that, it went silent here at Martinsville.
Yes, it did. So Trombley going to go to fourth. Third, by the way, going to go to William Hale. He was able to recapture that from the driver of the 45. So with that, it's also helping that Peterson not where he was earlier. Remember, CP was running third, but Peterson is once again dropped back to that fifth position. So it seems like the tail of the freight train on the outside has definitely not been helping CP this evening here, Gary.
Yeah, he's stuck in fifth place, even though he is one position up from race start, which was sixth. He hasn't really been in the lead as far as I can recall. Correct me if I'm wrong. And right now, Jake Watson is still trying to stick with Matt Cucker, but unfortunately for Peterson, like you mentioned, that freight train isn't working out. Drifts to the outside as of right now, leaving the inside open for that 78th Corey Heim, where he didn't have momentum to get down the inside turns 3 and 4. So for now, Peterson is safe, but somebody who's definitely not safe and somebody who's has a mirror full of 88 is Matt Cucker.
Yeah, absolutely, and Cucker's going to have to worry about it now because Watson took a look that time, just wasn't enough space, but we're getting to the point now to where I think Watson's car is starting to come a little bit good here, Chris, and that could be trouble for Cucker, though. Got a little bit loose that time. I think whatever Watson found in 3 and 4, he's got to find that again, or maybe it was just a mistake by the 69, but either way, you can see Watson close up, and you can see the 69 just a little bit of a wiggle off the corner there. Tires starting to fall off. These guys have still not changed tires, so we still have one more comp caution to go at lap number 120.
And Watson doing a great job at doing what he needs to do at this moment, at this point in the race, and that's apply the pressure to Matt Cucker, because he's doing just that, and we're starting to see some of the mistakes, some of maybe the tire effects wear in, where Matt Cucker is driving a little bit harder off the corner to try to make a gap or something to that effect. But Jake Watson doing such a great job at staying, not really losing, not really gaining, but just putting that pressure on the 69, staying on that back bumper, and it's really starting to affect Matt Cucker.
Yes, it is, and you can tell Cucker, he's gotten loose these last couple of times, so the 69 definitely not as calm as he used to be behind the wheel of that car at the beginning of this race. And you know, constant pressure from Jake Watson, Gary. It's got to start making you know, you can't be looking in that mirror like I think Cucker is right now, and he's just making one or two little mistakes, and that's all Jake Watson might need to dive it to the inside and grab the lead away.
Now caution is out, and of course looks like it's the number 3, Brad Carpenter, around once again, same place, just a few feet farther up ahead, and it looks like he may have gotten some help from the 13 who dived it into the corner and, well, unfortunately really misjudged that.
That was a little bit of a send, and you could see the 13 was all over the back bumper of the 3 going into the corner. I'm not sure if that was a send or not, but either way, Guillaume Fortin was not at all on the brakes that he needed to stay out of Brad Carpenter there. So we'll have to find out and see if we can figure out from the radio traffic if that was a little bit of tempers or if that was just a misjudge there, like you said, Gary. But either way, Chris, this will basically split up our run. So if you're Matt Cucker, do you risk starting on the outside again, or do you defend that inside and take the inside on the restart here?
I think the inside is definitely the way you want to go. Play defensive, especially with the mistakes you had that last short green flag run to where you allowed Jake Watson to keep on your back bumper, keep on and applying that pressure. You definitely want to take the inside. The tires are not what they were at the start of this race, and not even what they were 20 laps ago, Cisco, because we could see Matt Cucker struggling. We could see him get loose off the corners, and that just allowed Jake Watson to eat away. And so it was easy, or it was really, really difficult, I should say, for Matt Cucker to keep up the pace that he's been putting on this entire race. And it was really a different sight to see somebody up there at the front of the field and contesting that 69.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jake Watson's really been the best car to do that all day, Chris. Do you think the 62 or the 23 or the 45 have something for the leaders that they could just get up there?
Well, I never count out Christian Peterson. We know how good he was over the winter months with the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. We know how good he is at Martinsville, and we know how good he's on short tracks in general and in these cars. So I never want to count out that 23, and even the guy in front of him, that 62, has put on a really good show. William Hale done a great job at sticking up, applying the bumpers, using Martinsville for what it's designed for. So I never want to count any of these, top 4 drivers out of it, and always want to keep these guys in, and even Justin Trombley, who's in front of Peterson. So this really entire top 5 right now, Cisco, has a really great shot at maybe coming away with the win.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard pressed to really argue. I mean, Gary, is there anybody else in this field you think has, if they could just get up there, would have a shot?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I mean, we've seen William Hale. He was in between the those double battles that we had on the restart just the last time we've had a restart, actually. So essentially, William Hale was there, but he just couldn't really find the momentum. As we're going to be going green here in just a few moments, it's going to be interesting as Matt Cucker takes the outside lane. This could be a little bit devastating as the Ford Mustang GT pace car pulls off, and Jake Watson already almost making contact as we're going to head down into turns 3 and 4. Green flag is out, and Jake Watson, is that a jump start or not? That's going to be the question here. We're going to have to find that out as they head back down to turns 1 and 2.
I thought Watson would have been a little bit lighter on the old brake pedal there and try and put a side panel there to Cucker, but it wasn't to be. But they're still side by side as they battle into turn 3 and 4 that time, and that might have been the move Watson was looking for. He got to the inside, and that car is rolling the center really nicely right now, and the exit, and that's all he's needed to pull even here with Matt Cucker as they thunder off turn number 2. Still there just to the number plate right now, the 88. Watson is doing his best to try and pull clear of Cucker here.
Yeah, side by side as they come out of 4, crossing the line this time by 69 laps to go from the paperclip. Cisco contact between the 88 and the 69, going to send Matt Cucker up the track, lose his second place position, lose the lead, and now he's battling with teammate Christian Peterson for 3rd. So Jake Watson using a bit of the car towards his advantage, send that 69 up the track. Now he's got to survive and battle the 23 of Christian Peterson, who's got that preferred line at the moment, that inside line.
Yeah, absolutely, and Peterson trying to make it work down there, but I think we've started to see the bottom groove rubber in, and at this point we're past the lap count that we went last time, and we had already started to see that with the late model stocks. And keep in mind how many more caution laps they ran than us here in the super late model race. So I think the rubber definitely affecting the rest of these cars right now. And as for Jake Watson, it's worked out. And as for William Hale, it's worked out because Hale's up to that 2nd spot now as Cucker continues to fall through the field, looking for the opportunity to stop the bleeding and jump to the inside already.
Yeah, I did mention that William Hale was up there the last restart. Well, now he's up in 2nd right now. He's just in the right place at the right time. But essentially right now, Cucker he does have time, about 15 laps or so as of right now. And then some after the 120. After lap 120 competition caution that we have, but at the moment he can either stay in his position or he can push his tires a little more and try to get up to 2nd. As you can see, well, it looks like my question's been answered, but maybe William Hale's tires are definitely falling off as well. But right now, Jake Watson in the lead with a sizable gap to William Hale, and Cucker's made his way up essentially to the back bumper right now of William Hale.
Yeah, he has, and Cucker may have been saving a little bit of tires for later here because Hale, that car went from looking pretty decent to looking real bad right now as nearly in the wall goes Cucker. Had to back out of the throttle, and all that distance that Cucker made up just went out the window. Is caution going to fly? That's actually what the issue was. And looking through your field to see what the issue was there. Possibly more issues with Tommy Ryan perhaps, or something.
Nah, it's going to be, I think, the 71 of Dawson Fletcher this time. A rough race for that 71 machine. He was riding around back in 25th position here, Cisco, and it looks like he was just driving, making laps, and maybe got on the curb a little bit, which you can't do at this track, and just sent him off, spinning in the inside wall. Obviously frustrated, quickly takes it behind the wall to end his night. So unfortunate for that 71 machine to not have the night that they wanted here tonight at Martinsville.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a long night for Dawson Fletcher. We saw by how much damage that car had, and Dawson at this point parked it behind, and I believe they're pulling the hauler out of Martinsville already. So Fletcher done for the evening. He'll finish 25th. 2 cars out of the event as well. Dwight Beverly 26th, and Brandon Stokes in the 10 car 27th and out of this race. So 24 cars still out here on track, and 22 of them are on that lead lap. Randy Yoakum's racing the pace car, actually just rolled out of his pit stall there and is going to race the pace car and get back to the lead lap here before too long. And the wave around going to go to Brad Carpenter at that point. And Carpenter, I believe, going to be only 2 laps down this time here before we take the green flag here. But around the halfway point, so why not? We'll run you through your iRacing.com midway race break here for the Super Late Model feature, and that's brought to you by iRacing, the world's premier online racing game with professionally organized racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Global Rallycross, obviously the Cars Tour, and many more. Jake Watson right now in first position. William Hale runs second. Matt Cucker running third. Fourth to Christian Peterson. Fifth going to be Justin Tromley with Andrew Wooten, Corey Heim, Drayton Lapovich, Rafe Slate, and Jeremy Adams rounding out your top 10, Gary.
Wilkinson and Rogers, 11th and 12th. Devin Morgan in 13th. 14th, Scott Austin. 15th, Jeff Ward, John Lyday, Charlie Melvin, and Joe Perquette. 16th through 18th. 19th is Guillaume Fortin, and 20th is Wally Wilson.
Rounding out the rest of your field here, the 21st position goes to Jeremy Watkins, Brad Carpenter 22nd, 23rd it's going to be Randy Yoakum. He's your last car on the lead lap here tonight. Tommy Ryan is going to be 24th, 3 laps down, and then we've got the people off the racetrack and out of the race. Dawson Fletcher, we saw him exit the track just a few moments ago. The 26th position, Dwight Beverly, and then Brandon Stokes in 27th.
Yeah, I do want to point out Brad Carpenter now back on the lead lap, actually. But that's been a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. And if you go to iRacing.com/membership, there's plenty of deals there to get you on the sim for a low, low price. So check all that out today at iRacing.com/membership. Lights are gonna be in the hands of the 88 of Jake Watson for the first time this evening. Green flag back in the air. It's a drag race. William Hale versus Jake Watson to turn number 1.
I feel like Jake Watson has made the same mistake that the 69 Matt Cucker made, starting on the outside instead of defending on the inside, but we do have just about 7 or so laps until then, so side-by-side battling and then across the line. Wow, that 62 is sideways after number 4. Hale still manages to keep it forward, and that's going to give the lead now to Jake Watson as they head through turns 1 and 2. Watson clears coming off the corner, and Peterson now battling his teammate on the outside.
I'll tell you what, you cannot muscle that car the way William Hale did unless you have fists of steel. Fists of ham isn't going to cut it here, and Hale muscled that car out of that corner. Meanwhile, side-by-side, Peterson versus Tromley. They're all kind of trapped behind Matt Cucker right now, and that could backfire for Tromley not able to make in that pass. Well, I say that. Tromley nearly cleared Peterson that time, will do so. But Peterson hanging tough on the outside is now the 78. Corey Heim still sticking a nose into the inside. He's not going to give up either, with just 5 laps to go before the break.
5 laps to go. Jake Watson on
there goes 69.
Oh, no.
They're not going to hold on to it, but that car went on pit road, and all of a sudden, caution not going to fly for the 45 because...
Oh, and there goes the 2 of Andrew Wooten, going to hold on to it. Holy crap, and then they're going to get into it just in front of him, the 7 and the 22, going to send them around, and there they go.
Well, they were wrecking for about a lap there.
Oh.
They finally threw the caution flag.
So
this will be the stage end, yeah, Gary, but they wrecked for about a lap because that all started with the 45 of Justin Tromley, and the reason the caution didn't fly is because Tromley ended up on the old pit road coming off turn number 2. You see him right there. Caution's not going to fly for that, so he gets spun around. Then we flash forward to the 2 of Andrew Wooten, who gets tagged by the 78 of Corey Heim, who I think was getting sick of getting left out of line, and the 2 comes out. And meanwhile, after all that, Guillaume Fortin, and no, actually it was the issue with the 7 of Jeff Ward that finally brings out the caution flag. But yeah, that was a very involved caution there.
That was a very delayed caution as pit road is now very congested right now with all the drivers that have not yet pitted. So 23 drivers on pit road, and everyone's most likely going to be taking all 4 tires. Randy Yoakum stays out this time around, so he will be in the lead right now. And this is crucial, though, for you to get in and out of your pit box as smooth and as quick as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. One car staying out on the racetrack. It was Randy Yoakum, but Rafe Slade remember, he has that initial pit box because he got the pole. So that's going to pay off for him. You can see Justin Trombley finally making to his pit stall. And here comes Devin Morgan off pit road. He and Jake Watson come out way before everybody else. Jake Watson wouldn't surprise me, but Devin Morgan, have been a strategy call on there, Chris. Did he take 2 tires?
I think he must have, Cisco, because he went from all the way back from 11th to the point, so up 10 positions for that 12 car, which only means one thing: that 12 took 2 tires. So that'll be an interesting strategy call out of that 12 camp, because I mean, you got to do what you got to do, especially late in the going here. Cisco taking 2 tires, maybe he felt that's what he needed to do to get up there and maybe contest with some of these drivers, but definitely going to be our biggest mover, 21st to 1st at this moment in time. And then you got Jake Watson, Corey Heim, William Hale, Trayton Lapovich, and then the 6 of Rafe Slate to go through 6.
And for all the trials and tribulations we've gone through on the broadcast, just to let you know, Evan Pasoko is currently at Alcatraz Island, so maybe they'll lock him up for missing the broadcast today and put me through all this stress. I think it'd make it easier for us, Chris, if we just lock up Evan for a couple days, let him think about it.
I think that's that's what needs to happen. Let him spend a few nights in there and see if he's ready to come join us once again and not be so busy all the time. Because come on, Evan, we miss you here. You got to get back on the schedule and just stop being so busy.
I believe it's monster trucks again have swept Mr. Pasoko away.
Isn't that what it always is?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. You know, monster trucks and, you know, NHRA, all that sort of stuff. Gary, you've been Mr. Busy as well out at Tucson a lot, so we haven't seen as much of you as per usual, but you also been busy with your stuff as well on your channel, so it's been a very busy month or so for us here on LSR TV.
Yeah, for me, actually, I didn't actually, it was perfect timing too. I didn't see that you needed help until after I was done with my race, which was actually really convenient, so I decided to hop in, and maybe, and some reason my voice is still not yet dead. My voice has not yet gone out yet, so I decided, well, why not? Might as well help out. And of course, it's Martinsville, short tracks, and what could go wrong besides literally anything? It's always, short tracks are always the best portion of action. So, yeah, that's why I'm always at Tucson Speedway.
Absolutely, and Tucson going to be host to the K&N West Series this coming weekend. Going to be seeing
next weekend
Herschel McGrath. Oh, next weekend? Well, nonetheless,
yeah,
Herschel McGrath going to make his first start in a NASCAR sanctioned car, and I believe a decade at least, but the 90-year-old, definitely look for the stories on that. There's already a great story by Seth Eggert out on Motorsports Tribune. You can read about that, but that's definitely going to be awesome to go see, and I'm sure Gary's going to be out there witnessing some of that. But lights are out on the pace car this time, and the field in control of Devin Morgan. Led a lot of your late model stock race, but basically been not really a factor in the super late model race until now. The Ford Mustang iRacing.com pace car heads to pit road, and field in control of Devin Morgan as we pace through 3 and 4 this time, and it'll be on the loud pedal. When does he go in the restart box? Gonna check everybody up, waited until the green flag, green back in the air, and Watson actually gonna beat him to the start finish line. We'll have the edge as we come through 1 and 2 this time, and Watson gonna clear the 12, so not at all a good restart for Devin Morgan.
Get down to the corner. Devin Morgan going to be second, holding up William Hale. Hale gets in the back end. Going to have to really check up. Going to allow the 32 of Trayton Lapovich to get up there side by side. How about Corey Heim, Cisco? The 78 going to get really loose off the corner, but carry some momentum to get past that 12 machine. Be up almost in the second position. Going to body check the 12 out of the way. So the 12 just in the way at this moment in time. 2 tires just proved not the way to go, as Corey Heim takes second, and now Devin continues to go backwards.
And Corey, I remember Chris earlier during the weekend ended up facing the wrong way backwards into the wall at Orange County. So I'm definitely on the recovery at Martinsville here, doing an excellent job. One car way up the track. It was Devin Morgan, who has dropped like a rock through the field here, Gary, and is going to lose now that 8th position to a stomping through the field of Brandon Wilkinson, who started 16th and once again has been hard at work working his way through the field, up 9 spots to 7th.
Yeah, great job for Wilkinson as he's making progress. And at the misfortune of Devin Morgan, as a little bit of contact behind him was between Jeremy Adams in the 89 and number 2 of Andrew Wooten coming off of turn number 4 just a lap ago. But as of right now, they are still side by side battling for that 9th place position heading into the corner. And well, this is now just holding up Andrew Wooten. Will he head to the inside? No, he will not. And outside wall goes Jeremy Adams. A little bit of contact, and both these drivers have some right side damage, and both being held up by the number 12 at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Wooten just going to cut off the nose of Jeremy Adams there and get back to that, back in front of him there. So Andrew Wooten up tonight, Jeremy Adams back to 10th. Meanwhile, we take a look at your lead group, and Jake Watson doing Jake Watson things, pulled away from the rest of the field here. And Trey Lapovich, meanwhile, is right in front of, or rather is a mirror full of William Hale, the Hale Mechanical Ford Mustang. Rolls through 3 and 4 this time. I wanted to say Fusion, but he changed those logos. It's the Mustang now. So they head back to 1 and 2 this time here, Chris. And Hale's definitely been one of the more aggressive drivers here. Just hasn't been in the best position and kind of fell back after that midway kind of green flag run we had.
You're exactly right, and I just want to go back to something you said a few moments ago. Isn't it always the Mustang, Cisco? Everybody's jumping ships to the Mustangs nowadays, so not any surprise there to see that driver go to the Mustang and blue oval. Meanwhile, still up towards your front, Jake Watson able to pull a sizable gap over Corey Heim. Corey Heim got himself a little bit of a gap to the 3rd place position, where that's going to be where you're going to pick up some of your battles here, Cisco. You can see the 62 of William Hale kind of look towards the end or the inside on Trayton, but not going to quite be there. Looking now into turns 3 and 4, not going to make the move there, but William Hale can't afford to wait around too much longer, because if you look who's behind him, the 69 of Matt Cucker, and Cucker's not waiting anymore. He's going to go to the inside. You saw Hale try to throw the block, but a little bit too late, so the 69 going to be side by side. They make contact on the back straightaway, going to be dooring each other down the back straightaway, still side by side. Somehow they were able to keep it civil for the moment, but not over yet as they cross the finish line.
Oh yeah, that got all sorts of physical there, but Hale not going to give up, still on the outside, Gary. He's going to fire it in when they head to turn number 3. Hale, not the driver to give up. When I talked to him at PRI, you can tell he's a late model driver, because he doesn't want to lose. And Hale now down on the inside, the crossover move to Matt Cucker. Gonna try and move the Globalcom machine up the racetrack. No, he isn't. He's keeping it clean right now, but Hale's there, looking for more back to turn number 3.
I'm not sure what angle the camera was on when these two were single file just a few laps ago, but you should have seen the distance between Hale and Cucker when Hale went in front of that 69 car and in turn number 3. There was practically no distance whatsoever, so I was about ready to call out that the 69 made contact with 62. That hasn't happened. Well, that has happened, just not in the sense of somebody getting turned right now. So they're back to single file now, and to think that this is just for a 4th place position, but that's what makes short track racing exciting here, as William Hale is still trying to gain whatever momentum they can on Matt Cucker right now. But as of right now, really no dice as Cucker now sets his sights on that number 32 of Trayton Lapovich.
Yeah, Lapovich has definitely moved his way through this field. Started 15th up to 3rd, so that driver right now, and you can tell who the real life late model drivers are, because they have the brand names on their cars, and Chevrolet SS badge is adoring that 32 driver out of Canada right now, trying to make things happen. Same for Corey Heim, and he's trying to track down Jake Watson, but that gap between those 2 cars right now getting bigger and bigger, Chris. It's up to about 1.4 seconds between Watson and Corey Heim.
Yeah, Watson doing an amazing job at keeping that gap and even extending that gap a little bit as we really tick down the laps here. These 175 laps here tonight in this super late model feature, Cisco, have really went by fast, and I think that's just a testament to these drivers and how calm they've been. We've seen the battles ramp up a little bit, but they've somewhat kept it civil. We've only had a few cautions outside of the competition cautions, so a great job by all these drivers here at Martinsville. You can tell they definitely put in the practice. Meanwhile, the back here throughout the track, the 56 of Brandon Wilkinson just swapped positions with Christian Peterson. Peterson, who is all the way up to second at one point, fell all the way back to 8th on those pit stops, and now looks to try to make his way back up to the front. If there's anybody that can make their way back up the front at a short track in these cars, it's Christian Peterson.
Yeah, it's CP or maybe Gabe, but Gabe's in Talladega, so that's not really going to be a thing. That's, if you're wondering where the 00 is, that's where he is this week, out there with the ARCA cars out there. But Christian Peterson, like you said, Chris, has been absolutely working his way through this field and setting his sights on the 2 of Andrew Wooten, getting very close to that car, but not quite close enough to do anything just yet. But time's running out. Only going to have about 25 laps to go here at the start-finish line.
Yeah, 25 laps to go right now, and of course that's still quickly winding down. Your 3rd through 5th are essentially under a blanket once again, 32, 69, 62. Essentially the same order, just a lot closer than the last time we checked in with them. So right now, Matt Cooker still has his sights set on Trayton Lapovich right now, and of course it looks like Corey Heim is starting to either lose momentum, or all 3 of these drivers are somehow working together, and they're actually catching up to Corey Heim as of right now. Fastest lap on the track last time around was a 19.715 set by Jake Watson. But right now, Matt Cooker just running along the back bumper, and William Hale lurking if anything happens there just at the end of the top 5.
Yeah, Hale's just kind of waiting for things to happen. It's a bottleneck in front of him for sure, but I think he's waiting to see if he can make the move. If Cooker maybe moves the 32 out of the way. The 32 has been very loose. And Chris, we might see the move there. Nope, but you can see the 32, especially off the corners, is just, you can see the hip wiggle out of that car. And yep, there it is right there off turn number 2. He is not looking happy underneath that car right now. Keep in mind, of course, open setup, so I bet you Cooker probably has that car a little bit tighter than everybody else's.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. We've known that these open setups can prove costly late in the runs, and you're all about making adjustments and adapting towards this race, and that's exactly what Cooker's doing, because we saw him on the last run, Cisco, definitely struggling with the grip, and that might have something to do with the tires. It might have to do something with the long run handling of this setup. Either way, it looks like Cooker might have figured it out, because I haven't seen him move it or move around too much. Meanwhile, back through the pack, a battle for the 10th place position going on between Devin Morgan and the 89 of Jeremy Adams. They've been making contact a lot now. Look at Justin Trompley try to make his way up there. Contact between him and the 89, still throwing each other across the line. So contact all over the place, all over the track here, Cisco, as the laps wind down.
Yeah, it's getting a little sketchy back here, and you can see Jeremy Adams. We thought the 32 was loose. Jeremy Adams is a whole different kind of loose. He's a wrecking loose right now. So Adams trying to keep the wheels on that car, and meanwhile Devin Morgan has been able to at least stop the bleeding, at least for the moment, and has settled into about that 10th spot, but he's got about 3-4 angry super late models right behind him trying to take that spot away. Meanwhile, also a battle between Andrew Wooten and Christian Peterson may open up here, but Peterson gets a good run off the corner, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, it's a 5-car train there that's very angry with themselves at the moment. And also something to keep note of, the Hale has gained one more car behind him. That's the lap car, Wally Wilson. They just ran around that lap traffic, but no change so far for 3rd through 5th.
Yeah, 3rd through 5th is still relatively the same, and I'm personally keeping an eye on this little bit of a pack that we have here between 9th and looks like 14th. So just a little train of cars here just running single file at the moment. And of course I say at the moment, but don't forget the laps are winding down. So, and there goes the 69 looking to the inside of Lapovich for that 3rd place position, and I'm glad I caught that right at the right moment. So now the 32 is going to be on the outside, 69 to the inside, and well, I guess he heard me when I mentioned that laps are winding down. 14 laps to go now this time around, and Looks like at the line it's going to be close call, but Lapovich looks like he retained that third place position as they're still side by side, and right now at 32 is trying to hang on to that third place.
Yeah, absolutely. Lapovich doing an excellent job up on the top side, trying to hold on, like I said, for dear life. Just trying to race the 69 and hold on to that position, but time's running out. And this is not helping Matt Cucker's ability to go up there and maybe challenge for that second place position. He's now about 4 seconds off the lead. There is Cucker finally going to get by, and Hale's going to freight train the 32 as well. Lapovich not going to give up, though, as Hale down to the inside. Yep, he's going to follow right through. So unfortunately for the 32, unless we see the crossover here, he's going to go from 3rd to 5th there in about a lap. And yep, so is going to say the 32 back to 5th. And now the question is William Hale going to try anything with Matt Cucker here? Or is Cucker going to be able to pull away? Because those two are starting to catch Corey Heim here. So if they battle, they're probably not going to catch him. If they stay single file, this might be a battle for that second spot.
You're exactly right, Cisco. And look, there was a bit of a contact there between the 69 and the 62. William Hale almost made the run work and it stick on the inside. He's going to try again here in 3 and 4. Going to be there, have the nose, and have a little bit more coming across as we take 10 laps to go here in the super late model feature at the Paperclip Martinsville Speedway. Hale trying to get everything he can, and Matt Cucker hard to the wall.
That was a huge hit for Matt Cucker, and that just destroyed that right side of that car, and that cost him any sort of shot to go up and get Corey Heim, but a massive wreck there. And Guillaume Fortin, once again, nowhere to go, gets caught up in that incident. So fortunately for Fortin, it's going to be a long night for that 13 car, but yeah, a massive hit up there, and Hale is just going to drive away and be able to grab 3rd from that one, but that got real sketchy there.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for that number 69, Matt Cucker. He just had nowhere to go. Caught in the moment, and of course, he just hoped that everyone gets out of your way in time. Well, unfortunately, that did not happen in his favor, but right now it's essentially a slowly brewing battle between Corey Heim and William Hale as well. I'm going to be looking at their lap times once they cross the start-finish line this time around. Jake Watson still in the lead with a very, very massive lead, very dominant here today, and so it looks like last time around, William Hale with the fastest lap time, a 19.871. Corey Heim with a 20.172. So essentially about a second or so faster is William Hale, and he's definitely showing that visually on the track as the laps wind down.
Yeah, Corey Heim may be out of luck here before too often, because look at Heim. He kind of got out of the groove a little bit there, Chris, up the racetrack, and you can see that's how hard Hale is driving it. A big wiggle out of the 62, but he's giving it everything he can, as we're going to get 5 to go at the line. We haven't talked about Jake Watson in a while because he's been flat gone. Is out to a huge lead right now. It's about 3.7 back to Corey Heim and William Hale before the end of this, but 4 laps to go at the line for Jake Watson, who has just been dominant as soon as he got control of this race.
You're exactly right. Jake Watson did a little bit of movement of his own of Matt Cucker, which got him in the lead. Unfortunately, this last time by, the move that William Hale put on Matt Cucker cost Matt Cucker a lot more than just a few positions. There's some heavy damage to the outside of that car. So unfortunate for him as the laps wind down. Jake Watson almost a 4-second gap over the 78 of Corey Heim. So I believe, Cisco, all eyes are on the 78 of Corey Heim and William Hale to see if that can happen. Meanwhile, a battle for 5th place. We were talking about him earlier, Cisco. Christian Peterson has been on rails since he's been lost some of that track position. He's made his way all the way back up to 6th and doesn't look to be stopping there, trying to get on the back bump of the 08, I should say, of race slate. They both tapped the wall there coming out of 4, so few battles shaping up here as the laps wind down.
Yeah, and the 08 has had an excellent recovery. He's back up to that 5th spot, fell down way more earlier in the race, fell back to as low as 10th, you see there on the graphic, but definitely not the lead lap that he wanted. But all eyes right now are on Jake Watson, who slings it a little bit sideways, and as for the battle for 2nd, that's not going to be a battle. Corey Heim will win it. But as they come off turn number 4, the checkered flag is going to go to Jake Watson, who wins at Martinsville and wins the super late model feature for the Paperclip 270. An awesome win for Jake as he's able to go and put his 88 for the first time in victory lane this season.
Yeah, first time for Jake Watson. We saw a familiar 88 in victory lane this past weekend at Orange County, Cisco, with Deke McCaskill in the late model feature. So an 88 getting a win in both features nonetheless, except this one on the virtual side of things. Still amazing for Jake Watson to pick up his first win. He's got to be ecstatic, especially with how dominant he was in the latter half of this stage, or of these stages, and of this entire race. He put on a great show out there for the fans and really showed what that 88 can do.
That was a black and blue with a yellow number, I believe. So even the color scheme working out for Jake Watson, is he's going to burn it down on the front stretch. Awesome win for him, and his first win, I believe, in CEA here as well. So Jake Watson very happy. Actually, I think he brought home the battle at the Bull Ring, or was one of the contenders in that. But either way, Jake Watson first win in the Cars eSport Tour. And with that, we're going to run you through your full race results before we step aside and get a chance to talk to Jake Watson. But he's going to go to victory lane here. Second place going to go to Corey Himes. William Hale going to finish third. Fourth to Trayton Lapovich. Rafe Slate going to finish fifth. Sixth going to go to Christian Peterson. Seventh to Andrew Wooten. Eighth going to go to Brandon Wilkinson. Ninth to Devin Morgan. And Gary, rounding out your top 10, going to be Justin Tromley.
Finishing 11th, I should say, is the A9 Jeremy Adams. Matt Cucker, unfortunately, running into some problems late in the race, finishes in 12th place. AJ Rogers in 13th, 14th, Charlie Melvin, 15th, Scott Austin. Joe Burkett finishes 16th, Carpenter 17th, Gillan Fortin finishes 18th, Wally Wilson finishes 19th, and Chris Rendiokum finishes in 20th.
21st going to be Tommy Ryan, 22nd John Lade, Jeremy Watkins, 23rd, 24th is going to be Jeff Ward. Dawson Fletcher going to come home 25th, 26th Dwight Beverly, and rounding out your 27 SLM super late model field here at the Paperclip going to be Brandon Stokes. Cisco, an amazing race here tonight, and I know you're going to be talking with drivers here shortly.
Yeah, we are, but we're going to step aside and get a little bit of a commercial break so we can line up those drivers and get ready to stand by for the post-race show here for the Cars eSport Tour from Martinsville Speedway. Back in a moment on LSR TV, your home for sim racing, and we'll be with Jake Watson.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Back live, and after a long night of racing, it's going to be Jake Watson going to go to victory lane here at Martinsville as we kick off the LSR TV post-race show, and going to drag up the guy who's in victory lane right now, and it's Jake Watson, and champagne everywhere, Gatorade, anything else you can think of, but Jake Watson, first victory here in the Cars eSport Tour, and you do it in style at Martinsville. Talk us through it, man. That was a dominating performance.
Yeah, it was a show, but, you know, I got to send a huge shout out to Andrew Wooten for building this setup for me. This thing was on rails since lap 1, and I can't thank him enough.
Well, talk us through it, man. I mean, you were able to get the restart there, battled with Matt Cucker, and things got a little bit crazy for him behind you, but the restart, you were able to just make the inside line work. We saw the guys going to the outside for a while for the preferred line, and you were just able to make the inside work.
Yeah, you know, I just put everything on the table on that last stage there, and I raced Cucker hard for it. And I don't know what happened to him in the middle 1 and 2 there. I don't know if I came up or what, but, you know, that was some good hard racing with him.
Well, I'll tell you what, you get the victory here from Martinsville, and like Chris was saying earlier, a very similarly styled, a black, blue, and yellow numbered 88 went to victory lane over at Orange County, so I guess it was a good omen for you, but we'll return at Lanier Raceplex here in about 2 weeks' time. Looking forward to that one, and what's kind of your initial thoughts going into there?
Just got to stay consistent with these top 5 finishes. You know, I'm sort of looking forward to it. It's not one of my best tracks. You know, we're just going to give it our all.
+7 on the night. Jake Watson sponsors shoutouts. Who gets it done for you in the 88?
Yeah, I gotta thank Andrew Root for this killer setup. London Recreational Racing, Bennett GM, CN Chassis, Cyclone Racing Shocks, Castro Edge, and everyone at Left Turn.
All right, well, that's Jake Watson gets it done here from Martinsville. Jake, congrats, and we'll see you in 2 weeks at Lanier.
Thank you.
And we'll take the opportunity since we have a little bit of time here, and I'm going to pass the mic down to Chris Murdoch, who's caught up with Corey Heim in the 78.
Gonna talk with Corey Heim here in the 78. A really great rebound from maybe not the night you wanted at Orange County. You're gonna pick up the 2nd place here on the virtual side at Martinsville. Talk about how the race went for you.
Yeah, race was pretty good. Me and my team kind of missed the setup a little bit going into the race, made some good adjustments when we took the tires. Glad we ended up 2nd, got a little bit of luck on our side, and had that unfortunate incident with Wooten, and we were taking 3 wide, and I mean, we got the good side there and ended up 2nd, had good track position, and everyone from 2nd on back was pretty much even. I got the good track position, but Watson was definitely on rails. He had a great setup, and he's a great driver, and I'm just glad we could come home 2nd here.
Passing was some of the more is one of the more difficult things we saw here tonight at the paperclip, but you were able to make the car stick and make it work when you needed it to. What was the trick to kind of getting around somebody here late in a run?
Track position was really big, especially on restarts. Some people prefer the bottom. I personally prefer the top. You could really roll the top and clear someone, and if you got that, I mean, it's really hard to get by someone when the pace is up because everyone just rolling the top. There's so much rubber down the bottom. 40 laps in, everyone just started moving up because it was all about the run off of the corners, and if someone got a better run off the corner than you and got on your outside, then they're just going to fly by you because of all the rubber buildup on the bottom. But there's really no trick to getting by people. It's just your setup has to have a really good drive off of the corners, and if you can just get your nose outside of somebody or just get a good run off the corners and get far inside enough inside of someone going into the corners so you can move them up the track, but that's about it.
Well, a strong run for you here tonight and your 78 team. Corey, who makes it happen for you? Sponsors, shout-outs, who gets it done?
Yeah, I worked with Rafe Slate and Dawson on this setup yesterday and today. We dialed it in pretty good, like I said, just missed it a little bit, but shout out to Rafe and Dawson for helping me with the setup these past couple of days.
All right, and there you have it, guys. Corey, congratulations on your 2nd place win. Hope to see you get more of these down the line as we get deeper into the season.
Thank you.
All right, and I guess while we have a little bit of time, and he's sticking around as well, I'm going to toss it down to Gary Weaver, who's sitting by with William Hill.
William Hill, you managed to stay within the top 5 for a majority of the race, and of course one position up from where you started in 4th, finishing in 3rd place. So Overall, you did manage to get to second, I believe first at just almost 1 point in the race, but nonetheless, you do manage to come home with a podium finish.
Yeah, first off, I want to thank Andrew Wooten and everybody that helped on this setup. Andrew worked really hard on this setup the whole daggone week. I've been working a lot, and he got this car really good. I got in it yesterday, and it handled really well for the last 2 days, and I appreciate him for doing that. He's an awesome guy. But yeah, all in all, Jake going up there and winning. We had a pretty good set most of the day. Just not running where we need to run, really. Just not enough drive off to get up there and compete. Tried to catch Corey there at the end, and just ran out of time. Really got held up a lot by the 32 and the 69 right there, and just couldn't make it all up in time. The 12, I don't know what the heck he was doing on that restart either. It's just silly stuff like that costs you races. I'm a little disappointed, actually, because I know we could have been up there with Jake competing for a win.
And it's a shame that didn't happen, but again, you did manage to come home in third place, thankfully. And of course, with the segment breaks, if you will, throughout the race and the track rubbering in, did that play into your strategy at any point during the race?
I mean, yeah, it plays into a big strategy difference because you're going 40 laps and stopping. It's kind of, I would like to see a little bit longer stages if this happens again. I think the stages are too short for these supers. You got guys that just set up for, a really short run where we're used to setting up for really long runs, and you got guys that set up for short runs and it's hot lap the whole time, and it's not very, I don't think it was very good racing to even watch, really. From my perspective, it wasn't just a whole lot of fun either because we're so spread out because everybody's got different things and they're all going as fast as they can, then everybody falls back because they have a hot lap set up under it because, short run. So you're just encouraging people to use their Q set for a race, basically, and I think that's really silly. But other than that, it was a good race.
It was pretty exciting, and of course, even though you did mention at the beginning of the interview, anyone else that you'd like to thank or give shout-outs to?
Yeah, again, I want to thank Andrew Wooten for really putting in the work this week for all of us. Been doing a lot of work on the real cars and between bouncing back and forth jobs and stuff, and he found a little time out of his personal time to make this set up and get us something up under us for this week, and I really appreciate that. I want to thank all the guys at Left Turn for all the stuff they do. Just everybody that has their name on this car, LSR TV, thank you guys for all you do. CN Chassis Works, Hell Mechanical, Rude Heating and Air Products, Strauss Barbecue, and for the Ford Mustangs on the car this week for the Cobra Jet technology. That thing's really quick. Got a dang good motor in it now. So, I want to thank the Car Store for all they do for us, getting us on iRacing Live and all that stuff, and it's really good. I really appreciate Kyle and all he does for us short track guys. He's really put short track racing on iRacing back on the map as a premium series on iRacing, and he works really hard in this series, and he does a dang good job at it. So,
well, we're going to go ahead and let you go. Congratulations once again, William, on your third place finish.
Thanks, man.
Well, that'll do it, or we'll begin to wrap up here from Martinsville. But first, final thoughts here, Gary. You were the first one to join me out here for the SLM race. Final thoughts for you. Like we said, we saw lots of this in official, and it was a relatively clean race, all considering, man. Yeah,
it was really surprisingly clean, and although that did contribute to some action on the track as well, some side-by-side battles all across the track, especially on those restarts where it was the most exciting. I keep doubting that outside line at Martinsville because it's Martinsville. Why would you use the outside line at Martinsville? It's more of a Bristol thing, but that's more of a Larson line as well. So nonetheless, here tonight for the Super Lights, it was very, very exciting to watch, and essentially the battles were really amazing. I definitely want to do this again sometime.
And Chris, this marks the first time ever in the Cars eSport Tour that a driver from Vincier did not finish in the top 5. Christian Peterson finished 6th rather, but he was outside the top 5. So it was a very different race from what we were expecting. A lot of new faces out front, but that can only mean good things as we go forward.
and that is exactly right. The more these guys figure out their schedule and or figure out their setup, and the deeper we get in, and the more these guys get comfortable with their car. You know, seeing Jake Watson get his first win, he was pretty happy about that. And once that monkey jumps off your back, you start to be more consistent. You start to get up there more, and you start to maybe click off at a few more wins. So I don't think Jake Watson will be done this season, and maybe for Christian Peterson, Matt Cucker, a little bit of a frustrating day when you know you have that fast of car where you're hanging around all the way up front and just couldn't finish. But knowing those two, they'll always bounce back and be faster and be even more competitive the next time around.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for us here from Martinsville. I will not lie, I'm fairly fried tonight, but it's been a fun broadcast, and enjoyed having you along for the ride. So for everybody behind the scenes, first off, for Pit Row Media and Tony Stevens with some of the graphics we were able to use tonight. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you the ticker here coming up in 2 weeks. I'm gonna have to go back to the drawing board on a couple things on that one, but to, of course, Tony Stevens and all of Pit Row Media, so Chris Grainer, everybody behind the scenes there for helping us out on that end. For the Championship Esports Association and Kyle Barnes for helping out with the series, and of course Chris Regal and the Cars Tour, and Jacqueline Drake for that matter, for their support of us here on the Cars Esport Tour side of things. To of course Drew Adamson, Tony Gartner, and the staff at iRacing for greenlighting the series on the iRacing official YouTube channel, and the broadcast crew tonight for myself, Cisco Scaramuzza, for Jacqueline Drake, who joined us for the late model stock race, for Chris Murdoch and Gary Weaver. This has been the Cars Esport Tour, the Paperclip 270 here from Martinsville Speedway. We'll see you coming up Saturday night for the doubleheader with USR and Outlaw Modified Series. But until then, keep it safe, keep it locked to LSR TV. Good night.